More info at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
When it comes to spending your tax dollars and teaching your kids, governments and school districts should be an open book. But in Missouri, that's not always the case. Recently, the Show Me Institute sent out a sunshine law request to school districts across the state, asking for information on whether certain topics are being taught. Specifically, a controversial one called critical race theory was included in the list. Many districts didn't respond. Some wanted to charge large fees to process the documents. Lee's Summit outside Kansas City wanted over $35,000. A rural district, Morgan County, wanted $15,000. The Sunshine Law does allow charging a reasonable fee for sending out information, but there's nothing reasonable about $35,000 or $15,000. These districts should want to be transparent about their curriculums. Taxpayers deserve to know what their kids are being taught. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peter's location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, is home title fraud a threat to you? With one forged document, criminals can take your equity. Now, I trust Home Title Lock's $1 million triple lock protection. They provide 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, up to $1 million to restore your title if fraud occurs. Get a free title history report and personal title expert access, a $250 value just for signing up. Please go to HometitleLock.com, use promo code BILL250, and make sure you're not already a victim. On this Friday, at the risk of supporting a political party, which I am not in business to do, I simply cannot believe Democrats object to downsizing the federal government. With $36 trillion in debt, you would think every single American would support spending reform. But no, Elon Musk, now a progressive left whipping boy for exposing government waste. The USAID sent out hundreds of millions of dollars to insane foreign projects with absolutely no oversight on how the U.S. money was being spent. That should be a scandal, yet the left deplores the expose. In addition, the incredibly bloated Department of Education is being downsized, but that's not being applauded by many Democrats, despite the fact that American students are underperforming when compared with kids in the rest of the world. So the left seems to be saying, yes, let's have more of that. What's really going on here? Two things. First, liberal Americans love big government, except the Pentagon. Second, if President Trump wants to do it, we must oppose it. It has to be bad because he's bad. That is the progressive view. To me, that's incredibly dumb. Opposition's fine if you have a better solution. Remember, Joe Biden was a Democratic solution for 4 years running. How did that work out? Back after this. You don't wait for your car to break down before you get an oil change, right? So why wait until you're sick to get medications you need? All Family Pharmacy makes it easy. Get ivermectin, antibiotics, and more. With a prescription included, no hassle. Order online and they'll ship it right to your door. Stock up now at allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. Use code BILL10 for 10% off. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A warm and windy day on tap before powerful thunderstorms rumble in this evening and tonight. 83 for the high. That's near record territory, but winds gusting above 45 miles per hour at times starting this afternoon. The timing on these storms, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. for the listening area. In the metro, 8 to 11 p.m. Destructive winds, a few tornadoes, hail, all possible. Cooler for Saturday, but still above normal. Partly sunny, up to 72 with a spot shower possible. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The Democrat Party is going to have to go back toward the center.
News, analysis, and opinion.
I've never called a talk show before, but this just irked me.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
We all know Illinois is broke. Governor Pritzker won't admit it. Democrats in the assembly won't admit it, but they are. Is it possible they're going to go even more broke? Well, the answer is yes, but get this. Which special interest group's going to get paid off at the expense of taxpayers? At 7:05, I'm going to give you the update. It is a model for what not to do in every other state of the nation. Hey, good morning. Happy Friday to you. This flashback Friday here as well. We got that storm coming to the St. Louis area later on today and tonight. That forecast seems to be changing and not in a good way for us. So we're going to keep you updated throughout the day. Matter of fact, about mid-show, we're going to take a little bit of a pause, talk to our friends over at KMOV and get the up-to-the-minute forecast. But as things change, we'll keep you posted on that. All right, one thing we'd love to see changing here in St. Louis County in particular, we want a new county executive. I don't know anybody who likes or even respects Sam Page, so how the hell does he keep getting elected? Well, maybe we can change that in 2026. On the Republican side of things, County Councilman Dennis Hancock says, I'm in. He's announced he's not going to run for re-election next year. Instead, he wants to run to challenge Sam Page, and he was on the program with us on Thursday. Here's what he had to say as far as his vision for the future of the county.
You're going to jump in that race, which means you're walking away from your county council seat one way or the other. So you're stepping out there. You're taking a little bit of a risk. What made you decide to go, okay, instead of running for re-election on the county council, where you got a pretty good chance of holding on to that seat, you're going to take a bigger chance, challenge the Democrat in a light blue county, is how I refer to St. Louis County. What made you say, you know what, it's time to step up and go after Sam Page directly?
Well, thanks for having me on this morning, Mike. But no, you're absolutely right. I've announced that I'm running for county executive, and that I'm all in for the county executive's race. So, sometimes you try to plan things that you run from a safe spot, but my term aligns with the county executive's term. So, if I'm going to run for county executive, I've got to be all in.
Good morning, Dennis. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So, if you were so fortunate as to get in this office to manage to end the reign of the jerk in chief over there, what's kind of the first thing on your agenda to fix county government?
Well, there's three things that I think we need to address quickly, and they're no particular order, but I like to refer to them as the three C's. There's crime. Crime is still out of control in St. Louis County. It's not getting better. Our new prosecutor is working hard to do her part, but we need a county executive who supports local police, and I just don't see that coming from Sam Page. Then there's the whole issue of corruption. When you have a county executive who tries to bribe people off of the ballot, who tries to use county resources to sue the county council to get a ballot measure removed from the ballot, and then those sorts of things. We just have to stop that. We've got too many serious issues to deal with in St. Louis County, and then there's just the whole issue of competence. We have potholes all over the place. In January, the city wasn't the only government that had trouble removing snow. But instead of worrying about those things, we're worrying about rolling out a new flag. These things just don't make any sense, and it's time for us to as I like to say, to turn the page.
Now, I like that, turn the page. Now, will you change the symbol back, please?
And can we get a refund? Is there any chance, if you're fortunate enough to get in office, as Gabe put it, can we get a refund on the flag?
It's like the flag and the seal. Both of them have been ruined by this administration.
$90,000 artwork.
Yeah, well, but it's typical. We throw money away on things that we don't need, yet we can't seem to figure out how to put sprinklers in the county administration building. And we have to start focusing on basics and providing services that the taxpayers are paying for.
Good morning, Dennis Stalpontikis here. And speaking of providing services and helping the taxpayers, I have some friends who live in the county, and I constantly hear from them issues with the roads and the street department. And can't we get the roads fixed and widened, et cetera, and have some improvements?
And the potholes, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. So just wondering what your perspective is on that.
No, I hear from people every day about, the potholes on the streets. And heard from somebody this week that, they're driving down a main artery in the county, and they're going from a municipality where the road is, looks practically brand new, to the section that's maintained by the county where it looks like it's a gravel road, and then back to another municipality where the road is, well maintained. We have to do better. We keep hearing from our county executive just what a wonderful job our employees are doing, in his response to Proposition B. But to me, we have to start holding people accountable if they're not doing their jobs.
Mm-hmm. We're visiting with County Councilman Dennis Hancock in St. Louis County, who's announced that he is running for county executive. And by the way, there are a lot of people who say, okay, but Sam Page has been the executive. He's got that experience. You've been an executive. You were the mayor of Fenton for 12 years?
Yes, sir. 12 years. And during that time, in 2006, the state of Missouri did a survey and found out that the city of Fenton had more full-time jobs per resident than any city in Missouri. And I have an economic development background in my professional life. And to me, we just have to get back to basics. And the way we did it in Fenton was we made Fenton easy for businesses to come and do business with. It's not a hard concept. It's make your permitting process streamlined so that people aren't waiting weeks to get a permit to do a small remodel job. We just have to get back to basics and doing the things that people expect their government to do.
Well, and let me follow up there, because under the Page administration and under the guise of the whole COVID nonsense, the county literally has lost population and businesses have moved out of the county, basically for fear of the county government at this point. So how do you turn that around? I know we're talking about the basic services, which I appreciate, but a lot of businesses are also saying, well, in St. Charles County, in Jefferson County, I know I'm not going to get shut down when the flu bug, runs around, right, or it's a bad RSV season or something like that. What do you establish as your priorities as county executive to people who are saying we are still feeling the sting from the shutdowns that Sam Page enforced, literally issuing stay-at-home orders, which I disobeyed openly as well. But you've got a role of government issue here in addition to the economic development issue. I mean, it's one thing to say we're going to have great streamlined permitting process, but businesses also want to know you're not going to tell them that they're not allowed to open their doors and serve customers.
No, and you're exactly right, Mike. To me, it's government staying in its lane. We shouldn't be involved in every aspect of everybody's life. It just doesn't work. So we need to do the things that we can do and do the things that government is supposed to do. When I talk about streamlining permitting processes and making it easy to come in and do business, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about going out and recruiting this business or giving this business an incentive over a different one. I think we have to just, create an atmosphere where people want to be here. And if we can create that atmosphere and keep the jobs here and bring new ones in on top of it, then the population follows that. And then as we grow our population, these areas of the county that are food deserts and things like that, if people are working and they have jobs and they have a strong nucleus in those communities, then those retailers will come with it. The places that have been successful in doing economic development haven't been chasing retail. They've been chasing manufacturing jobs. They've been chasing jobs that people are wanting to come to work to do and can make an income, enough money to raise their families with.
That discussion about the COVID restrictions and things like that always kind of raises to me or reminds me again of one of those seeds that you mentioned, the corruption of the Page administration and how many times the council and sometimes the state government has had to step in with new rules in order to restrict the power of the executive. Are there any reforms that you would be in support of for that office that you think are needed just to make sure that government runs well, regardless of who is in that executive seat?
Even if that restricts yourself,
right?
If you get elected,
right. Well, and I can tell you, I'm strongly supporting Proposition B on the April ballot, and that would do exactly that. It would take power away from the executive and share it with the legislative branch. We have too many instances where we have department heads who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. A great example is we have a county attorney who reports to the county executive, but has entered into several different expensive contracts with outside law firms that turn around then and, for example, we had one that turned around and represented employees suing the council to take Proposition B off the ballot. Mm-hmm. Well, why are we spending taxpayer dollars on that? That shouldn't be happening. And that's where Proposition B would help to hold that person accountable. If the county executive isn't going to take action against someone like that, then the council should have the ability to do that. And so anybody that served with me when I was mayor, I like collaboration. I like it when people disagree with me because it pushes me to come up with a better solution. And I think that so often what we see with Dr. Page is he comes to us with a solution and that's it. There's no discussion after that. Mm-hmm. The new flag is a great example of that. We didn't know, the council didn't know that we had a problem with the old flag, but now we have a new one. Mm-hmm. It just, those kind of things. That's not the way any organization is supposed to work.
Yeah, none of us were aware of the flag crisis that we had.
Yeah,
we were aware of the deficit and the debt that the county has because of irresponsible spending, and we're aware of that. But we didn't realize that we had a $90,000 flag and the county sealed crisis.
I had no idea
happening there as well.
Yeah.
All right, Dennis. Of course, I mean the filing and all that sort of stuff. There's a calendar for all of that, but people want to follow what you're doing. Do you have the website up, social media, anything like that? If people want to get in touch or ask you, or maybe even get involved.
Yeah, for now we're on Facebook. Dennis Hancock for County Executive. I've got a website that's up. It's a temporary website. Dennis Hancock for St. Louis County. And I think that we're going to keep getting the word out. I've been to several different Republican groups over the last week and just talking to people and trying to get out and meet as many folks as I can and just reintroduce myself to a lot of people who may not have been following me that closely for the last couple of years.
Now, you're going to have to win some Democratic votes to beat Sam Page. There's a lot of Democrats who can't stand Sam Page, but they're still loyal Democrats. Mm-hmm. You're going to have some of them cross over and say it's time to do the right thing for the county.
Exactly. And that's part of the plan, is to appeal to those folks who may have been Sam Page supporters at one time or have been long-term Democrats. But they see what's going on. In fact, I have several Democrat friends who are supporting me, who are saying exactly the same thing. They're not changing parties, but they just don't like Sam Page and the things that he's done, and they're looking for an alternative. My plan is to present myself as that alternative.
All right, 314-912-1019. By the way, if you've really got an interest in that St. Louis County Executives race, you like what you heard from Dennis, go find that podcast on our app or at newstalkstl.com or anywhere you get your podcast, and you can easily send that conversation to any of your friends or family or social media followers who might be interested in that. So be sure to do that. It is completely free to do, and you don't have to fill out any forms. You can just click and send. All right, this is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion from the voices you know and trust. News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com.
Tony Colombo here for my dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, the one-stop shop for all your family's dental needs. And Dr. Boscia is always expanding his services, now including the incredible all-on-4 full arch implant procedure, full mouth restoration that can give you back your smile in as little as 1 day. No more suffering with damaged or missing teeth or poor fitting dentures. You can see some amazing smile makeovers, learn more about the all-on-4 procedure, and see everything Dr. Boscia can do right now at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Severs JCB, a trusted leader in agriculture and construction. Connect with seversjcb.com and browse their inventory or stop by and let them show you the capabilities of the JCB lineup. Telebooms, skid steers, loaders, forklifts, excavators, backhoes, and more. JCB has pushed diesel to its limits with machines that now emit 50% less CO2. JCB's new Icon software system will blow your mind, offering iConfigure, iConnect, and iControl. Learn more at seversjcb.com.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today.
800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380. Paid for by U.S. Med.
News Talk STL. Always streaming on your smart speaker, our mobile app, or newstalkstl.com. The 80s. Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Fire on the beat.
It's Flashback Friday.
I don't know if the gentleman who requested this was thinking of today being Dan Bongino's last day,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
right.
Goodbye to you.
Those times I waited for you seem so long ago. I wanted to find
You never know what we're going to get on Flashback Friday.
No, we don't.
That's what makes it so much fun. Yeah, that's true. Bongino's last day. We'll talk about that here in just a second, because we normally don't focus on what's ending in the broadcast business. You know, when somebody's making a change, they're retiring or whatever, you may get a celebration, like when Charlie Brennan retired from KMOV-Ch, where we were all like, hey, you know what, for the day, we're going to celebrate that career. But generally, we just kind of say, okay, go away. We're going to focus on what's next, because, you know, that sort of thing.
We're always looking forward.
That's right. But let's talk about what's not going to be here next week. Yeah, today's Bongino's last day. By the way, police make an arrest in that Afton racist vandalism case. And you may be surprised at who turned the suspect in. I'm going to tell you at 6:04. One of those good for you things. All right, real quick here, because we're going to have updates throughout the morning. Don't panic, but be aware, basically, is what we're talking about. So the weather people, they have this now this severe weather threat scale, 1 to 5. 5 basically meaning batten down the hatches, you're about to get walloped, the world's about to end kind of thing. We're at a 4. And when you look at the map of the severe weather area, St. Louis is the bullseye.
Yep, right in the middle.
I mean, right in the middle.
No way to get out of it.
No. So we're getting something. The predictions, and I'll have a little more details here in the news dump. But we're looking at the possibility of tornadoes. Not. I mean, I can't tell you. It's just the conditions could favor that.
They're ripe for tornadoes.
Right. So basically, just a couple basic things. Get your stuff that could fly around, just kind of batten it down or put it in the garage real quick. If you got an outdoor pet, make them an indoor pet tonight, stuff like that,
There's a local site called Hyperlocal Weather that I follow a little bit. And yesterday's comment was, bring in your porch goose.
Yeah, there you go.
So it doesn't fly away.
It doesn't fly away. But also, just real quick, everybody in the house, know where you go if the sirens go off, that sort of thing. And then go about your life. Don't panic, nothing like that. But we're going to talk to Matt Chambers at 7:35. All right, today's the last Dan Bongino show.
Boy, that's hard to believe.
It really is. Dan's been with us from day one here on News Talk STL. So this is a big change, and Dan's presence in our national conversation is bigger than his radio show. It's actually bigger than I think his podcast. I think it's bigger than the sum of those things, because Dan just comes across, and I think he is, just one of us.
Yep.
He's not one of these elitist, look at my resume and my degrees from the Ivy League schools, and I attended, that Dan's one of us. He grew up in a gritty blue collar career with law enforcement, and he just relates all to us. And of course, he's moving on to become the deputy director of the FBI, charged with cleaning up that place along with Kash Patel. So last Dan Bongino show today at 11 o'clock. I would not miss that, if I were you. I mean, I'm still going to be here working on stuff, and I'll try to do my best to hear what's going over the overheads here at the radio station. But it's the end of an era with Dan Bongino. And of course, everybody's going to keep going. There's a lot of great voices that are still out there. And so real quick, what's going to happen next week is we're just going to play the Vince show, which is Bongino's handpicked replacement. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have the announcement as to what is going to be the permanent changes post Dan Bongino. But the Vince show all next week after Dan Bongino. And then best of luck to Dan Bongino. We'll chat about him throughout the morning too.
News, analysis, opinion.
They are stealing your taxpayer dollars.
When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win.
Here's our message to Speaker Johnson and President Musk. Enough is enough.
Our country is in serious trouble.
We either solve the deficit or all we'll be doing is paying debt.
He's helping us to save our country.
It's got to be solved. It's not optional.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number one
for conservative talk. News Talk STL.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Hi there, Chris Cooper here, Serenity Wealth Management. Joining me in studio for the Serenity Wealth Now radio show this week, we've got Lindsay Grillo of Birdies and Barrels and Grillo's Chop and Barrel out in Lake St. Louis. We're going to talk about hobbies. We're going to talk about fun. We're going to talk a little bit about golf and some whiskey and making sure that you enjoy the lifestyle you deserve. Tune in this week, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., right here on News Talk STL.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. It's crunch time. Seems Senate Democrats backing away from bringing on a partial government shutdown by opposing a Republican stopgap spending bill.
I believe it is my job to make the best choice for the country, to minimize the harms to the American people. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer raising the white flag, the GOP measure to keep the government going through the end of September. Republican Senator John Cornyn predicted Democrats would cave.
You're talking about people who have been railing against Elon Musk and the Trump administration over reductions in force of the federal employees, and now they basically want to put all of them out of work by shutting down the government. So that seems to be, I don't know how you reconcile those two positions.
Not a done deal just yet, though. To avoid the shutdown, the Senate's facing a midnight deadline for approval of the GOP spending bill. Wide swath of the country could be in for some nasty weather in the next few days.
More than 100 million people in the U.S. are in the path of an expected massive March storm starting today. It's a sprawling system that may bring blizzards, tornadoes, fires, and flooding as it tracks across the Great Plains eastward. Moisture and heat from the abnormally warm Gulf could fuel heavy rainfall that's raising concerns for flooding from the central Gulf Coast through the upper Ohio Valley. Tornadoes are possible in the nation's heartland. Keith Peters reporting.
The loss of $800 million in USAID funding prompting Johns Hopkins University to cut some 2,000 jobs worldwide. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures are up 240 points. The NASDAQ futures 218 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grills that are built to last and will consistently deliver better than restaurant grilled food. The Solaire infrared burner heats up to 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes, even in the dead of winter. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills food faster. Learn more about these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. Solaire hot, fast grills at BestHotGrill.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A warm and windy day on tap before powerful thunderstorms rumble in this evening and tonight. 83 for the high. That's near record territory, but winds gusting above 45 miles per hour at times starting this afternoon. The timing on these storms, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. for the listening area. In the metro, 8 to 11 p.m. Destructive winds, a few tornadoes, hail, all possible. Cooler for Saturday, but still above normal. Partly sunny, up to 72 with a spot shower possible. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
Love your couch but hate sinking into it? Custom Foam has your solution. We specialize in replacing your cushion foam with firmer options, firmer than anything you'll find in furniture stores, and a fraction of the cost of new furniture. Need extra firm support or soft cushioning for your back pillows? We have options you can test in person. From couches to window seats, dining chairs to custom projects. We'll have your furniture feeling like new in just a few days. We even offer same-day service. Visit custom-foam.com. That's custom-foam.com.
This is what's happening.
The president is ready to drive this war to an end.
I think I have the power to end this war.
He is the deal maker in chief.
You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
1019 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
We the people.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
It's not rocket science. Rocket science.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
It's Friday!
All right, the suspect in the Afton racist vandalism case probably didn't expect to be turned in by this person.
Oh, really?
You're going to be interested in this one, Gabe.
Oh,
I guarantee you.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. All right, and I'm not going to get my government shut down after all.
Boo.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Democrats. Jerks.
No Schumer shutdown?
No Schumer shutdown.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Actually, I think he figured out what I was all excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. If we go beyond step one, oh, crap.
Yes, and all that stuff we've been talking about, protecting the government workers, will look like stupidity.
Yeah.
When we do this.
Yeah. Man. And JB Pritzker is hungry for more debt on the backs of taxpayers.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, yeah.
Yeah. But for that, we're going to talk about that at the 7 o'clock hour. It is 6:06 right now. I have a feeling that we're all in one of those moods, a Friday mood. Okay.
Sure enough.
So God only knows what's about to happen over the next 3 hours here. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
All right, just be aware. St. Louis is in the bullseye of the area likely to be hit by severe storms later today and tonight. KMOV's weather team tells us that our severe weather threat level is at 4, and that is on a 1 to 5 scale.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's bad.
If you look at the map, Gabe, I don't know if you've seen it, the big red area, we are literally right in the middle of it.
Oh, man.
Right in the middle. So these storms could bring winds of over 75 miles per hour. Tornadoes are possible. The line of storms is expected in the area this evening. As of right now, we're going to get an up-to-the-minute forecast update from Matt Chambers at 7:35. But as of right now, the prediction is that first line of storms starts moving into the area right around 7 p.m.
Okay.
So don't panic. The world's not going to end.
Right.
Just be aware that this could be a pretty big storm.
Yeah. Batten down the hatches, as they say.
Yeah. And for instance, it wouldn't hurt with everybody at the house say, all right, if the sirens go off, we know where we're going, right?
Right.
Yep. Okay, great. What's on TV? What's for dinner? Just move on, with your life. Just be aware.
One of the reasons why I finished my basement.
There you go. That's right.
So now it's comfortable.
There you go.
And keep in mind, if you're in the metro area, 7 p.m. is a good time to look at. But if you're out west, it would be more like 5 p.m.
Right.
If you're east, Metro East, et cetera, 9 p.m. probably, because it'll hopefully move out of the area by midnight or 1 a.m.
Yeah. So at some point when things are nice and calm, get your outdoor pets into the garage.
Yep.
As well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Some of those DOJ cuts are being clawed back in court. Yeah. A federal judge orders the Trump administration to rehire thousands of probationary workers who were let go in that big round of mass firings. Here's the story.
U.S. District Judge William Alsup found the firings didn't follow federal law, and he ordered that all fired probationary employees be offered their jobs back immediately. The judge described the mass firings as a sham. The ruling affects employees from multiple federal agencies, including the Departments of Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, the Interior, and the Treasury. Greg Clugston, Washington.
In other words, probably hundreds of millions of dollars being ordered to be spent that have already been identified as not necessary.
Here's the thing that I don't understand is how is it that in the rest of the world, basically, everybody is hired at will,
right?
And you can be fired at will because this is the extent of our contract,
especially if you're probationary. All of these were probationary employees,
right? So the thing is, so how do you say, okay, according to federal law, you have to make special accommodations? So for federal workers, I guess, are more specialer than the rest of us.
Apparently.
Come on.
Yeah, obviously there's going to be some kind of appeal on this.
I bet the next judge up is going to put a stay on it or something like that. You can't just... Yeah.
You work in the executive branch. For the most part, you serve at the pleasure of the president. That's the terminology that's used. All right, police make an arrest in the Afton racist vandalism case. 18-year-old Patrick Sloan is charged with property damage motivated by discrimination. That is the actual charge.
And also bad spelling.
Very bad spelling. And along those lines, he is an Afton High School graduate.
Oh, there you go. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, investigators accuse Sloan of spray painting white supremacist images, including swastikas and the term white power, W-I-T-E, on messages. Also, there were some threatening messages wanting to kill people of minorities and things like that on both Afton High School and Rogers Middle School this month. His mother recognized him in the news coverage and reported him to authorities.
All right, good on you, Mom.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Look,
good on you, Mom.
All right. Okay.
Every once in a while, that happens where a mom reports a kid.
Yeah.
My dad made it clear that if I did anything illegal, not only would he turn me in, he said he would not visit me in jail. He said, "Don't waste your call on me."
I had the same conversation with my kids when they were young teenagers.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, you get yourself arrested by doing something really stupid, your one phone call probably ought to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
Don't call me because I'm not coming down to get you.
Yeah, my dad did the same thing too. And he
Mhm.
owned a restaurant, so cops always were coming in, getting coffee and pie, etc. Oh, it's pie day today, by the way.
That's right.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And he told them point blank, and I heard him say it a couple times, if he ever does anything, throw the book at him.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you need to put him in jail because he did something, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Gee, Dad.
My dad had a prison ministry, and he said he wouldn't visit me.
Same with my for those of you maybe new to the show, both Gabe and my dad's my dad's gone, but
Mine too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, our dads were pastors.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both
And
of them
yes,
were
my
pastors.
dad, both of them did jail and
prison
prison ministries. I have an uncle who was the director of a national jail ministry program.
Yeah,
so.
but the kids are an exception. So you guys, you guys screw up. There are no excuses for you.
Put him in the hole.
Put him in the hole.
Maybe not that far, but oh goodness. All right. So on the eve of the Senate vote being today, that could determine if the nation faces a government shutdown.
Bum, bum, bum.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Now I really don't like him. I really didn't like him before. He says that he will vote in favor of the current legislation, the CR, that is intended to keep the spending at the status quo levels. The New York Democrat says he's not looking to risk that shutdown.
For Donald Trump, a shutdown would be a gift. It would be the best distraction he could ask for from his awful agenda.
Oh, crap. I was so hoping that the Democrats were going to take the bait and do it, even though they knew that they would be covered by the media, because what would happen is there would be that government shutdown.
Yeah.
And then after a little bit, we'd all go, wait a minute, we don't actually need this.
Yeah, this is nice.
And so, with Chuck Schumer saying, all right, we're going to do it. The Democrats are going to come in. This is overwhelmingly going to be passed. Remember, all they're doing is voting to maintain literally the budget that was put together by Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden.
Seriously.
That's all this is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we haven't had shutdowns before.
Right.
I looked it up last night. The first one that would be similar to this would have been with Gerald Ford back in 76.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, all of us are multiple time government shutdown survivors.
Yes, exactly.
I should get a t-shirt.
Marked safe.
All right. All right. What marked safe?
A little flag.
A little flag. Yeah. Marked safe.
One of our U.S. senators in the News Talk STL area is blowing the whistle on what he calls the censorship industrial complex. Bob Agnew's got the story.
Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt says over the past 10 years, Democrats built what he calls an unholy alliance of censorship groups, one that is still embedded deeply and broadly in a network of government agencies and NGOs. He describes it on X as, quote, a shadowy network of NGOs, tech groups, and governments working to censor the left's enemies, not just in America, but across the West. Schmidt is calling on GOP colleagues to expose and dismantle the system over the next 4 years. Bob Agnew reporting.
He's right.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. All right. Some are going to win, and a whole lot of you are going to lose your money this month. The American Gaming Association is estimating that Americans are going to wager over $3 billion on college basketball.
Just on college ball.
Just on college basketball.
Wow.
They are predicting an increase of over $300 million in March Madness betting compared to last year. Now, that might be because sports betting being legalized in more states, including Missouri.
I got SIU Edwardsville
going all the way.
There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your bracket look like?
I actually my family used to like do a bracket not for money, but just for bragging rights. And we haven't done it for a couple of years. That's all kind of fallen by the wayside on there. But I do know enough to say I'll take that bet. All right, the Cardinals and the Astros ended Thursday's spring training game with a 1-1 tie. Redbirds run. This is interesting. The Redbirds run came from a third inning Lars Nootbaar triple that drove in Jake Myers. You don't see enough triples in baseball.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Today's game is against the Mets. That is at 5:10. ML Audio is going to be streaming that. No TV coverage. The Blues tried to fight back, but it just wasn't enough as they lose to the Penguins Thursday night. Final score in Pittsburgh was 5-3. Blues had 2 goals in the third period. Just kind of ran out of time there. Next up is a home game against the Ducks, and that is a Saturday afternoon game at Enterprise.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Hey folks, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers. Eric, Newstetter's not one of those giant, big, sterile, big box stores, is it?
Nope. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is a family-owned local tradition since the 60s. We're a full-service jeweler that does on-site repair as well as custom creations. We don't sell jewelry. We sit and listen to find out exactly what you truly desire in fine jewelry and give you an education so you'll fall in love with your piece for a lifetime.
Newstetter's Fine Jewelers at wowdiamonds.com. That's Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
This is Larry Connors, and my favorite sandwich at Capriati's is a Philly cheesesteak with peppers, sweet peppers, but sometimes hot peppers. I love Capriati's, and so will you.
Open 9 to 9 daily on Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit STLFenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
I know I've heard this song before, but it's been ages.
It has been ages. I did not recall it when the listener requested it.
Yeah.
But once I heard it, I realized, oh, yeah, this is the radio song from Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh, yes. Okay.
It's from 1987.
Oh, wow. See, I was going to guess like 82 or something like that. Wow.
Name of the album was Got Any Gum?
That sounds like a Joe Walsh
It does sound like a Joe Walsh thing.
Yeah.
You know, a great guitar player, probably best known for working with the Eagles.
Oh, sure, yeah. That's where I saw him live. Was with
And
the Eagles, yeah.
earlier, he was with the James Gang, and then has done stuff with Ringo Starr and his all-star band.
Yep.
I think Kathy and I saw him with Ringo Starr's band at the Fox Theater. This was quite a few years ago. So he's been around.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy, but a little
he's weird.
Off center.
He's weird.
Yeah.
He's weird in a lot of ways, weird in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
In a funny way.
Oh, yeah, in a very funny way. Yeah, I saw him with the Eagles. I think I was in college, out in the eastern Kansas at the amphitheater out there. And he was just like this almost southern drawl. Is it a southern drawl or is he drunk? You know, kind of that sort of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
because most of the time you're thinking he is drunk.
Oh yeah, but it's just kind of the way. But yeah, he was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, guess who the weird and bizarre ones are?
I have a big long list.
You
got to narrow it down for me.
Okay, I will in just a second.
Okay.
Here. All right, Dan Bongino's last radio show is today.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Dan Bongino, proud to be part of the News Talk STL lineup.
Every weekday from 11 to 2, we'll get together to talk about what's going on.
News, analysis, opinion, and always some fun. Make an appointment to be with us every weekday beginning at 11 on News Talk STL. Welcome home.
That's a flashback. That's back to the day one promo that Dan did for us.
That's day one.
Wow.
Man, holy crap.
And Dan's been really good to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, over the years.
Yeah, he gave us some shout outs, which were really, really helpful and everything.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah, a lot of times those national folks, you talk to their people.
Yes.
You know, and he's got people that we've worked with, but there's been a number of times he's been on this show with us a couple times. He's been, keeping us in mind when, because we went out of our way to really support him here in St. Louis, and he recognized that. So, best of luck to Dan Bongino on his next mission in his career, and I think that's what he's doing. But yeah, 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, you're not going to want to miss Dan's show, his last show, the last Dan Bongino show today, starting at 11 o'clock. All right, some Democratic Congress critters had a press conference on Thursday, complaining about the Republicans, complaining about the spending cuts and all that sort of thing. Okay, which is fine. That's what you do in Washington. Democrats complain about Republicans. Republicans complain about Democrats. People who are really common sense complain about all of them. But then this happened. This was part of it.
They are obsessed with culture war issues. The Republican Party is obsessed with culture war issues. It is weird and it is bizarre. And the American people deserve serious legislators, serious elected officials who are focused on bringing people together to deliver real results for the American people.
So,
all right, bro.
Yeah. See, what you just heard there was being stated by a man in a dress. That is Congressman Tim, air quotes, Sarah McBride, lecturing Republicans about being weird and bizarre while being a man, wearing a dress, wearing makeup, wearing heels, and neck bobbing a little bit there.
Yes.
But Republicans are the weird and bizarre ones.
It's a wild construction that usually happens with liberals, where they basically drag the Overton window so far to the left, using culture wars to enact all of their pet projects, their sociological experiments on the American people. And then when we notice and we say, hey, I don't like that. They look at us like, why are you so obsessed with the culture wars? It's like, you started it. That's why.
Yes. And the funny part is that it's been probably a year since we've come back to this, because now you've got this guy in a dress.
See, my first thought was it was Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh,
when I heard it.
Yeah. By the way, I did not even know this. Did you know that he wrote and released a book, and I guess the left-wing media was like, he's been interviewed everywhere on there, and on the book ranking charts, he's like 500 and something.
Oh, geez.
It flopped. I mean, it just zero interest in it. And that means if you're, I mean, honestly, you could get your cousins to buy your book and end up at 500 something.
Yeah, seriously.
Most people. And so the culture war thing, if that's what they were, because the left for a number of years, they were winning the culture war. They started it. And then just what you said at one point, across the board, this wasn't an ideological thing. This wasn't a political thing. This wasn't a Republican versus Democrat or liberal versus conservative or whatever. People just went, that's too far. We're done. We're out.
Yeah, I guess he hasn't noticed the the polls showing the American people at this point kind of like close to 70%, I think it is, that are just done with almost like all of the LGBTQ push stuff lately. So I mean, guys, it's like we're not the weird ones.
Yeah, precisely. So he wants to put the focus back on culture wars. I say, okay, dude, let's go. You want to do that? That's fine. You go right on ahead. But also at the same time, and I'm just telling you right now, I might get myself in trouble by saying this here.
That's all right. That happens every week.
Yeah, I mean, like in the building, which I do. I get myself in trouble.
Okay.
We also need to call out some of the spineless ones that are supposedly on our side. For instance, on social media this week, I think it was yesterday, Tommy Lauren.
Oh gosh,
lamenting people like, I don't understand why people have to be so mean and misgender her. Talking about McBride.
She did that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, listen, Tommy Lauren's kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, I know we got a deal with her and she does a commentary. It airs on this show. You'll notice she's never been on this show because they've offered. And I just said no. I just turned her down. I'm not interested in having her on the program. So there's a deal with Outkick, and that's fine, whatever. And more, all the opinions don't have to agree with mine.
Sure.
On here.
I mean, and she has some good takes sometimes.
Yeah, every once in a while. I mean, she lost her gig, remember all those years ago with Glenn Beck, because she decided to announce that she's, pro-abortion, pro-choice. And so, but when she posted that, it's like, that ain't it, and this, I get it. You're basically an influencer who gets to be on broadcast. But we need to make sure that we're holding the line on our own.
Yeah. And I think part of the whole thing, I mean, and you said, I think you said it correctly in that you called it spinelessness. And I mean, it might sound a little harsh, but honestly, that's what the whole niceness movement has been. Not only among, conservatives and conservatism, but religious Christians as well. Like we've been so cowed by the idea that we don't want anybody to be mad at us, that we've allowed things to happen in our culture that have turned society upside down.
Well, and even beyond that, because there were a lot of people of faith, and you mentioned Christians, but you could say conservative Jewish people. And many others who even weren't even going along. They just weren't gonna fight.
Right. Yes.
It's like, what, you do you, I'll do me. I don't like it. I'll try to teach my kids the right way, all this sort of thing. But then at some point it became just live and let live. And then it became, no, you will accept this. And then it became, you will use the language I tell you to. You will think this way. Then it was, the schools will teach this. Then it is, in some cases, the authorities are going to get involved if you try. And so at that point, the pushback was massive. So if Tim McBride, who goes by the name Sarah, wants to lecture everybody about being weird and bizarre, literally while wearing makeup, a dress, and heels, bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, if you think that that's going to be the distraction that pulls people away from all of the economic stuff and all the conflicts you've got with Republicans and Trump and JD Vance and John Thune and Mike Johnson, whoever, go ahead, because those culture war issues were part of what people voted on in November.
Very specifically so.
And remember, that's where a lot of the weaponization from the Department of Justice came
from,
when they were targeting largely Christian parents who were standing up to protect their kids from the perversions. So we actually were content to let adults live how you want to live. And then you decided that you were going to tell us how to live, and then how to talk and how to think and how to rear our kids, or you were going to have the state do it.
Right.
And you got your ass kicked.
That's right. And that's how it's going to be from now on, so long as we hold the line. And I think that's kind of what you're saying about the Republicans, the conservatives, the people on our side who are still kind of flying the niceness flag. Let's be respectful. It's like, you know what? There are some things that are not respectful.
No.
Do I have to be respectful for a Hamas supporting moron? It's like, no, I'm not going to be respectful of that opinion because it's destructive. Same thing with this whole trans craziness.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, we decided a little bit too late to say we're not going to let it go.
Right.
And then we started winning.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you separate out the culture war from the other stuff that's going on. And you could probably do that in the 80s. You could probably do that in the early 2000s. I don't know that you can do that necessarily right now.
It's tied to everything.
Yeah.
The thing is, since the Democrats, the liberals, the leftists, they're the ones who started this war. They kind of set what the rules of the battlefield were in doing so. And they said that culture war stuff is tied to everything. Everything's oppression and everything's oppressor stuff based. And, the revolution goes through the LGBTQ community. This is stuff they said. These are your terms. We have accepted them.
That's right. We accepted the rules of combat. All right. This Flashback Friday, it's always going to be fun. Some good comments coming in on Rumble already in particular. All right. Not getting my government shutdown after all. A few other things happening here. The fight against these Doge cuts as well. Let's talk to our good buddy Paul Curtman about this, get his take on this, especially with the economy stuff. I've seen the words correction and I've seen the words recession floated around. And Paul obviously, lives and works in that space. So we'll get his take on that right around 6:34 here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
It's like your favorite station, playing your favorite song, just like they do on the radio, like they do on the radio.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A warm and windy day on tap before powerful thunderstorms rumble in this evening and tonight. 83 for the high. That's near record territory, but winds gusting above 45 miles per hour at times starting this afternoon. The timing on these storms, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. for the listening area. In the metro, 8 to 11 p.m. Destructive winds, a few tornadoes, hail, all possible. Cooler for Saturday, but still above normal. Partly sunny, up to 72 with a spot shower possible. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Are you sitting on hidden treasure? Manchester Coin and Jewelry wants to turn your valuables into cash. We're Missouri's premier gold buyers and jewelry specialists. With years of expertise, we offer top dollar for your coins, antiques, precious metals, and collectibles. From gold and silver to clocks and jewelry, we buy it all. Don't let your treasures collect dust. Let Manchester Coin and Jewelry give you the best value. Visit online at buyingvaluables.net or come see him today at 141 in Manchester and tell him News Talk STL sent you.
The Laborers International Union of North America, Local 110, was formed in 1933 and from the beginning has strived for progress and the well-being of others. The laborers of Local 110 are hardworking men and women who take pride in their great work. They are the fastest-growing union of construction workers and one of the most effective unions representing plants and quarries. Laborers Local 110 has the best medical benefits, pension, education, and heavy construction training in the market. Visit lu110.com and start your future today.
Hey, News Talk STL listeners, this is Levi, CEO of Reach Reproductive Health. There was a huge gap left when the biggest pregnancy center in St. Louis had to close their doors right after Amendment 3. But by God's grace and power, Reach has been able to step into that space. We have acquired Thrive centers and are continuing operations in greater St. Louis. I have a request for you. Would you pray and consider getting to know Reach more? We are here to see babies saved and families transformed by the power of Christ. Get to know us on our Reach community website, outreachforlife.org. That's outreachforlife.org.
Jeffco Patriot Radio. Every week, get the stories and insider analysis of what is really happening in Jefferson County.
We are basically kind of doing a little Tim Jones radio here with a focus on Jefferson County. My co-host, Billy Crow.
We're really excited to show the people of the region everything that Jefferson County has to offer.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
If it's a big story in Jefferson County, you'll hear about it on Jeffco Patriot Radio. Sundays at noon on News Talk STL.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Congressman Bob Onderon has bill to end the trafficking of aborted babies at 425, 525, Metrolink expansion, dead or alive. Patrick Toohey of the Show Me Institute.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Just the convenience on the phone.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app. And listen anytime.
Everywhere.
Anywhere. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the dates?
It's Flashback Friday.
Guilty pleasure song here. I love this song. Lionel Richie.
I feel no guilt. I love this song. Come at me.
Good choice on this Flashback Friday.
Yeah. Good video too, by the way.
It is.
When
It's
you
fun.
think back to it, it's a fun video.
It's a fun video. I feel like I need to stall just long enough to at least get into the chorus for a minute. I know we have important like economic stuff, and your personal finances are going to be affected by it, and the world's going to end as we know it. But Lionel Richie's singing.
Yeah, you gotta let the big drums hit.
Yeah, they got to roll in. Here.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't crash in; they kind of roll in.
Yeah, they do kind of roll
in a very rhythmic and fun way.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if you're not kind of like merengueing over here, then what are you even doing?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're watching on video. You're seeing some bad dancing right now. 6:36 right now. All right. The bad news is that I'm not getting my government shutdown after all.
Yeah.
But just a quick reminder: the News Talk STL app, it is up and running and launched and relaunched and upgraded. Double check your app. You may need to actually click for it to update on your phone. I thought that was going to be automatic, but some of the iPhone versions, you've got to just go into the App Store and update it yourself. You're going to love it. Your app is going to look completely different. Hit the go button, and then you've got all the options right there. So check it out. Play around with it. It's going to be a lot of fun here. All right, joined now by Paul Curtman, astute political and economic advisor extraordinaire with us right now. I'm kind of bummed, Paul. I'm not going to get my government shutdown. I thought the Democrats were going to go for it and have the different parts of the government run out of funding for the time being. And then a week or 2 or 3 or 4 down the road, the country would go, my life isn't affected by this. Maybe we really don't need all of this government. Maybe we should be cutting stuff. But I think they figured out that they were going to be shooting themselves in the foot. And unfortunately, they've decided to keep these Biden-era spending status quo things going here. What's your take on what's next? Because basically now, Paul, we're being promised, well, we'll just keep the status quo through at least the fall. And then we promise you after that, we're going to cut spending and we're going to start drawing back. Just trust us next time, because we hear that from Republicans and Democrats a lot.
Yeah, well, good morning, guys. We do hear that from Republicans and Democrats a lot. And I think everybody just needs to take stock of the fact that last week when President Trump gave his speech and he was going through that whole laundry list of all the waste, fraud, and abuse that was discovered, and he's given all these figures, $30 million for this, $800 million for that. And the Republicans are cheering and cheering for all this waste, fraud, and abuse that Doge has uncovered. Well, those are the same people that were in office that voted for it or just allowed it to go on in the first place.
Yep.
So I'm glad to have them on board now, but people need to remember that it's the laziness of politicians that would rather be celebrity influencers than actually open budget bills and spending bills. That's what we've got in Washington, D.C. That's how this runaway spending happened in the first place. As far as the shutdown goes, even though it might have just been rhetoric, at least, because we still seem to be addicted to spending, we've kind of stolen the thunder. We've kind of pulled everything out from these Democrats because we're kind of playing both sides. Yeah, we're ready to spend money, but at the same time, hey, we're also ready to send government workers home already. We're giving them $25,000 to leave their jobs and leave their positions. So a government shutdown really does not scare anybody the way that it did before, and it certainly doesn't seem to scare the American people because it's so evident by how much support organizations like Doge have to start rooting out government waste to begin with. And I think people are hungry for a government shutdown. So I think we're going to keep the status quo going on into September. This is one of the things that I was hoping that we would actually get over. I don't think people should be happy with the status quo. I don't think we should be happy with spending bills. I don't think we should be happy with continuing resolutions. Continuing resolutions are the ones that buried us in this nightmare of financial disaster to begin with. And so the next thing that needs to be on Doge's plate, or the president's plate, is the idea that we're never going to be doing continuing resolutions. We're never going to be kicking the can down the road for 3 or 4 months at a time to keep, just for the sake of keeping the government open. What the American people want is real financial accountability and responsibility from our leaders in Congress.
Morning, Paul. Gabe here. So then we've got the government shutdown talk that kind of turned out to be nothing. Do you think the recession talk in terms of the economy is going to turn out to be nothing, or should we be a little bit, just a teensy bit, worried about a slowdown in the economy?
Yeah, I think we should be a little bit concerned about a slowdown in the economy. There's a lot of people out there that would just want to kind of talk high, pie in the sky, hey, we've avoided a recession. And I think we need to be very concerned about politicians thinking that we can manipulate monetary policy, economic policy, just in order to avoid a recession. People need to hear the honest truth. These things happen. It is part of the cycle, and it's actually necessary for health. It's almost like going to sleep every night. Like every night, after so many hours of working during the day, your body just kind of has to shut down and revamp. Recessions, corrections in the market, all that stuff is just something that is part of the process. There's things that we can do. There's things that we can do to make it less painful. One of the ways that we can start is by having real government accountability. That's a big deal. Having actual sound monetary policy is a really big part of that. Making sure that we have financial policies coming from government that don't punish people for productivity or tax them to death is a big part of that. But ups and downs in the economy, people just need to understand that that's part of the game, and we'll never get to a place where we never have that. We will always have that as long as people are breathing, as long as people are spending money, as long as politicians are trying to get your vote. We will always have ups and downs in the market and in the economy.
So we need a nice bed for when the economy goes to sleep.
Hey, go out and buy a bed. That will help the economy.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So are we? And then some of these are there are technical terms for this, but I actually saw the first articles just in the last 24 hours saying the market could be entering correction territory, which is different than recession territory.
Right.
So I mean, are we in that sort of stage of this? And either way, what are the things that we need to keep in mind when it comes to our personal finances and savings? Because what's happening is people are looking at the arrows and the charts and what's happening with on my app with my 401k or my IRA or whatever the case is. And they're seeing things go down, and we don't like it when things go down.
Yeah, well, that is an excellent question, Mike. I was talking to some of my clients just the other day. They're looking at the news, and I had one of my clients repeating to me all the doom and gloom headlines that she saw on the news. And the news loves to spin this out of proportion. You have a lot of financial firms that love to use this in order to scare people or incentivize them to get phone calls so people will move their business over to them because, hey, these people have all the answers. This correction, this recession won't affect me if I just go to this other firm. The only thing people need to understand is that they just need to have a strategy. Now, if you have a 401k or an IRA and the market corrects, and when a market correction takes place, what that means is that the S&P 500, for example, is down 10%. Once the S&P 500 goes down 10%, people say the S&P 500 is in correction territory. Once it gets below 20%, now we're talking recession territory. So those are the different phase lines people kind of benchmark these indexes against in order to determine if we're in a correction or a recession. And listen, if people are just watching their portfolio go down in value and they don't even know why they're invested in what they're invested in, it will be worrisome, especially people that are older, closer to retirement. It is not good for people to be up all night, biting their nails, wondering if their money's going to be there in the morning. People need to know that they have a strategy for how their money's invested that has everything to do with how they're money is diversified. It has everything to do with how much cash they have on hand to help them meet their living expenses or unforeseen expenses. But people need to have a strategy, and they need to work with a financial professional to make sure that their money is invested in a way that they can tolerate the risk in the market. And as long as they have a strategy, then a good advisor is going to help them find opportunities when the market's going up and help hedge against losses when the market goes down, but also find opportunities when the market goes down. So investing is a thinking man's game, as my drill instructor would have said. So just make sure that you're working with an advisor who's thinking and kind of a geek when it comes to markets.
Good morning, Paul. Stel Ponticus here. I know the Trump administration was kind of expecting some of this pushback regarding the cuts that DOJ has suggested and the job situations. And now we've got judges making decisions on what the administration is or is not able to do, the executive branch, what they can or can't do. Are you bothered by the fact that judges are doing this?
Not really. They've always done this. And whenever one of these rules comes up, you know, hey, a judge, like I see the headlines too, a judge has just put a stay on President Trump's spending freeze for U.S. aid. This isn't just a judge. It's not like something just landed in their court as part of the normal judicial process. These are lawsuits that are being filed by activists. And the activists are going out and finding a judge that will cooperate with their agenda. These are activist judges. Now, President Trump could probably do what presidents have done in the past. I remember there's a story about President Andrew Jackson when the Supreme Court made a ruling on, I'm trying to remember what the deal was, but it had something to do with the Cherokee Indians.
Yep.
And President Andrew Jackson, somebody asked him, they said the court ruled that you couldn't do this. And Jackson's response was, well, they're the court. Let them execute it. In other words, I'm going to do whatever I want because they're just the courts. They just give opinions. I'm the one that actually executes the law. And so there are checks and balances, and the president should execute the law as it's interpreted, but at the same time, the courts can't execute the law. So I wouldn't be surprised if President Trump eventually gets to some point where he does a little bit of that. I think it's unlikely, but people need to keep in mind that when these orders come out, they're coming from activist judges that have been shopped by activist organizations.
All right, Paul Curtman, we've already tagged you on our social media as always. Appreciate the input. And unfortunately, I was supposed to be in Florida this week playing ball, and I couldn't make it down there, obviously. So maybe I can pass through your neighborhood later on this year as I'm going to another tournament. We'll talk to you again soon.
That'd be great. Thanks, Mike.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, 314-912-1019. Of course, now with Andrew Jackson, there was also the variable that don't for a minute think that he wouldn't have been willing to stab somebody.
Oh, that's true. Andrew Jackson was kind of that guy.
He was that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of a variable. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump's not going to stab anybody.
Well, not literally.
No.
Figuratively.
Yeah.
Verbally.
Oh, yeah.
He was wielding that sword that one day.
That's right.
Oh, that's
he did,
right.
Yeah.
He was cutting a
cake.
cake.
Yeah,
That's
with the officer sword. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Got a couple updates for you, including on what to watch for weather-wise. Be aware. Don't panic, but be aware. I've got the update for you here right around 6:50.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
Come on and sing along. We're going to party.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Come on and sing along. All night long. All night long. Yes, all night long. All night long. Yeah. Once you get started,
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new app.
And listen anytime, anywhere.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Great song.
It's always fun when a rock band's got a female.
Yeah,
lead
I
vocalist.
think so too. Is this what was it, Till Tuesday?
Till Tuesday
with Voices Carry.
Yeah, band out of Boston, and a lot of folks don't give Boston enough credit for being a really creative area for bands. And I think back to the '80s, they had a station that was kind of like KSHE, WBCN in Boston, and they were literally one of the dominant stations, like WMMS in Cleveland, and there were a few others around the country that would really be at the cutting edge of rock stuff. And Till Tuesday came out of that culture in Boston.
Got it. Yeah, and there's another band from Boston called Aerosmith that did pretty well.
Yeah, Jay Giles Band, another one.
Yeah,
a lot of good bands.
All right, the suspect in the Afton racist vandalism case probably didn't expect to be turned in by this person. And at 7:05, J.B. Pritzker, he wants more debt on the backs of taxpayers. More. Guess who's going to benefit from this? Yeah, somebody getting paid if he gets his way. It's 6:52 right now. Let's go and dump some news on you here.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
They got all the news. The morning news dump.
All right, this is the heads up. St. Louis is in the bullseye of the area likely to be hit by severe storms later today and tonight. KMOV's weather team tells us that our severe weather threat level, they've got this 1 to 5 scale. We're at 4 right now.
Oh man.
So we're really right close to the top of that. The storms, which are going to hit St. Louis later today, could bring winds of over 75 miles per hour. Tornadoes are possible. That line of storms is expected in the immediate metro area, probably as it stands right now, around 7 p.m. They're always updating that forecast. We're going to talk to Matt Chambers from KMOV at 7:30 with that. Now, that doesn't mean panic and the world is going to end. It just means be aware and know what you would do if those sirens go off. That's all that means. And understand one way or the other, we're going to have really, really heavy winds out there. So do a little survey of your yard. What is it that I really would rather not lose?
Right.
Then you can go from there.
Yeah, identify the things that can blow away, because there are more of them than you think.
Right.
Or things that can blow over.
Right.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for those things.
All right. Some of those Doge cuts are being clawed back in court. We just talked to Paul Curtman a little bit about that, touched on this. A federal judge orders the Trump administration to rehire thousands of probationary workers who were let go in one of those first rounds of the cuts.
U.S. District Judge William Alsup found the firings didn't follow federal law, and he ordered that all fired probationary employees be offered their jobs back immediately. The judge described the mass firings as a sham. The ruling affects employees from multiple federal agencies, including the Departments of Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, the Interior, and the Treasury. Greg Clugston, Washington.
I don't know how government workers
on probation
are some special class that get, protection. I mean, in the private sector, we've all been there before. If the company says we can't afford you, or we don't need you, or we have to make cuts, even if we do need you, that's what happens.
Yeah, seriously. I don't understand why the executive can't run the executive.
Yeah,
that's the kind of the main thing to me. It's like, wait a minute, the Constitution establishes an executive who's supposed to have all the faith and power granted to him by the people who voted for him to execute the laws. And that should mean running the executive agencies, but for some reason he's not allowed to. I don't understand that.
Yeah, we'll see what the courts eventually settle on this, because this is just one round in this fight here. All right, police make an arrest in that Afton racist vandalism case. 18-year-old Patrick Sloan is now charged with property damage motivated by discrimination. That's actually the charge. How it's referred to. He is an Afton High School graduate.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Investigators accuse Sloan of spray painting white supremacist images, including swastikas and including threats to kill people and other messages on both Afton High School and Rogers Middle School this month in two separate instances. One of the things that he wrote, and, we bring it because we just can't help the snark. He's a recent Afton High School graduate, but he misspelled the word white in white power.
Yeah.
WITE. So yes, I want I want this guy to be held accountable and face prosecution, but you might want to talk to whoever your spelling, grammar, English teachers are.
Yeah.
There at Afton High School system, or the Afton school system, because you missed that.
Who graduated this boy?
Yeah.
I'm surprised one of the teachers didn't go out there with a red spray paint.
That's right.
And
10 points off.
That's right.
Add the H back in with a little arrow.
With a little carrot.
With a little carrot. Yeah, exactly.
Gosh. So
see me after class.
Yeah. So here's what happened is his mother recognized him with all the news coverage and the videos and the pictures. We were talking about the pictures are pretty grainy. He was wearing a thing over his face, but you could kind of get a general idea.
Yeah, we were like, it's hard to identify this guy. It's going to be hard for him to find him. That's kind of what we were saying, right?
But not for mom.
No, mom.
She's like, nope, that's him.
That's
and
my boy.
She actually reported him to authorities and got him arrested.
Reminds me of the mom who went down to one of the Black Lives Matter rallies and saw her boy there, and she's smacking him. She grabbed him by the ear basically and dragged him. I was like, what are you doing down here messing around throwing bricks and whatnot?
And he was whining, crying like a little baby when he was being yanked off like by his ear.
He was like a full head taller than her, but he was like hunched over. He's like, I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah. All right, the Cardinals and the Astros ended Thursday's game with a 1-1 tie. The Cardinals play the Mets this afternoon at 5:10. The Blues lost to the Penguins last night. Final score in Pittsburgh was 5-3. The Blues are at home for their next game. That's going to be on Sunday afternoon against Anaheim.
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
I've been a registered Democrat for 28 years. I'm really glad you're talking about this. You gotta love these idiots out here. They think we're all stupid, I guess.
News, analysis, opinion.
Totally agree on that. I disagree with you.
It's over.
Very upset.
Thanks for taking my call. Thanks for taking my call. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Wanted to ask you really quick. Is there room on the bandwagon for me?
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Bengal's restaurant offers an inviting atmosphere, neighborly service, and a vibrant happy hour scene, all in the heart of Warson Woods. From their kitchen to your plates, beloved comfort favorites like chicken parmesan and lasagna to steakhouse-style classics. Slide up to the vintage bar or hit the patio for happy hour specials every Tuesday through Friday. Bengal's Restaurant and Bar, 10017 Manchester Road. Check out the menu and reserve a table online at bengalsrestaurant.com.
Tired of floors that don't stand up to real life? Hometown Floors has the solution. With 40 years of experience, they know floors. 100% made in the USA. Luxury vinyl, laminate carpet, pet-friendly, and built to last. Free in-home estimates, professional installation, and satisfaction guaranteed. Hometown Floors, making small business great again. Check us out at hometownfloorsonline.com.
Hey, beverage enthusiasts, it's time to stock up and save at Save On Liquor and Wine, Twin Oaks. Premium whiskeys, fine wines, tasty tequilas, smooth vodkas, you name it, we got it on discount. Whether you're celebrating, relaxing, or impressing, Save On is your one-stop shop for all things liquid refreshment. 1142 Merrimack Station Road or online at savonliquor.com. Save On Liquor and Wine, Twin Oaks, where great moments begin with a perfect pour.
KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Democrat opposition to a Republican spending bill to fund the government through September is crumbling. It's a Senate showdown over a potential shutdown.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has announced he's ready to start the process of considering a Republican-led spending bill which passed the U.S. House earlier this week. Reversing his position to oppose the measure, Schumer now rationalizes that a shutdown would give a victory to President Donald Trump. In public pronouncements, the Democrats wanted to hold the line against the administration's cuts to government agencies, but with reports of their behind-closed-doors divisions, the party has few options. Yesterday, GOP Senate Majority Leader John Thune said it's time to fish or cut bait. George Williams reporting.
The president's attempt to cut the size and the cost of government is being blocked by a couple of federal judges, one in Baltimore, the other in San Francisco. The administration vowing to appeal rulings that block the firings of thousands of federal employees. The president pays a visit to once hostile territory today. He'll stop by the Department of Justice, now under new management.
The DOJ was top of mind for Donald Trump during the campaign as he railed against what he called the weaponization of the federal government, especially against him. He was charged with illegally retaining classified documents and trying to overturn his 2020 election defeat. But the DOJ, which is now led by his former defense attorneys and allies, abandoned those cases after he won re-election.
White House correspondent Craig Clugston. Hamas is signaling acceptance of a proposal from mediators to release one living American-Israeli hostage, as well as the bodies of 4 dual national hostages who died in captivity. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a higher open later on. The Dow futures are up 250 points. NASDAQ futures 233 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Healthcare is complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't love how your health insurance works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance behind. Take charge of your healthcare with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM offers you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and select the program that fits your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
You heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A warm and windy day on tap before powerful thunderstorms rumble in this evening and tonight. 83 for the high. That's near record territory, but winds gusting above 45 miles per hour at times starting this afternoon. The timing on these storms, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. for the listening area. In the metro, 8 to 11 p.m. Destructive winds, a few tornadoes, hail, all possible. Cooler for Saturday, but still above normal. partly sunny, up to 72 with a spot shower possible. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Piccadilly Palace, located in Union, Missouri. The ultimate family fun center is Piccadilly Palace. Call 314-860-6418 or visit piccadillypalace.com.
At Elite Comfort Experts, they don't believe in gimmicks, just guarantees. And now they're teaming up with Amana Heating and Air Conditioning to bring you a 99-year compressor and heat exchange warranty and a 10-year parts and labor warranty on a high new efficiency HVAC system. This exclusive offer is available on qualifying systems installed before April 15th. Choose integrity and quality. Choose Elite Comfort Experts. Call Elite at 636-887-0971 or visit EliteComfortExperts.com. Mention the promo code NewsTalkSTL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Mike Ferguson,
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer,
I triple dog dare you! Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get Up St. Louis,
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin God.
All right, you know that old saying, when you're in a hole over your head, the first thing you do is what, guys?
In a hole over your head?
Right. What do? You stop digging.
You stop digging.
Right.
Yeah.
That's common sense. But
Yeah.
that is common sense that seems to elude Illinois' governor. Looks like he wants to, I guess, hire a financial backhoe and just keep going.
That just sounded funny.
Hey,
Yeah.
can we get a post hole digger over here, please?
Right.
We need to go further down.
Good Lord. Good Lord. By the way, it is 7:06 right now. Don't forget, today is the last Dan Bongino show. 11
That's
o'clock-
wild.
Yeah, 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. The final episode of Bongino here on News Talk STL before he moves on and joins the leadership team of the FBI. But you definitely want to be tuning in. 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock is when you can hear that. All right, we're joined now by Bryce Hill from the Illinois Policy Institute. Now, Bryce has actually had a number of things they posted here, but one really caught my eye over the last couple of days. It's just entitled, Pritzker Pushes $13 billion pension benefit hike in his budget.
Okay.
And Bryce, appreciate you being on the program here. I think it's the first time, Bryce, that you've been on.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of us who, have followed Illinois, politics and policy for a long time, and all of those of us who have a basic understanding of economics or a basic understanding of numbers and math.
Yeah.
It's been obvious for a long time that this pension system is a massive part of what's causing a lot of the Illinois government's financial woes. And so what is it that the governor is proposing? And I would say, gee, who's going to benefit from this? But I think we all know. So give me kind of the foundation of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for having me. Just to start off, Illinois' pensions, public sector pensions, the retirements that are guaranteed for state workers. The state currently has $144 billion worth of unfunded pension liabilities. That's debt that represents future tax hikes that Illinoisans are going to have to pay. The funding ratio, the dollars that we have on hand to pay that, are less than 46 cents. So they're perilously close to going underfunded to the point where no matter what we do, we won't be able to pay these out. So public retirees are a risk for their pensions not being there for them in the future, and taxpayers are already experiencing massive tax hikes in order to try to fund them. What Pritzker has done in his budget is increase benefits by a projected $13 billion by essentially raising the amount of your salary that can count towards your pension for high income earners, people earning above $127,000. He says that amount going towards your pension, not enough. We should be counting an extra $40,000 to let you accumulate towards your pension in any given year to increase your benefits. And in the long run, that's going to cost the state $13 billion. It's going to add to that $140 billion number.
Good morning, Bryce. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So what does it mean for a state to go bankrupt? I think a lot of people kind of they have trouble, honestly, understanding what happens when an individual goes bankrupt. I mean, unless you've already been through it, you kind of don't know. So what does it mean when the state does?
Yeah, it's going to be a massive restructuring of the debt, like the $144 billion in pension debt. And so the big question is, what's going to happen to that? That's a bad scenario for everybody, because your debt gets consolidated and restructured, and you have a new payment schedule that either benefits for public sector retirees. This debt is going to get cut and slashed, so public sector retirees aren't going to get the benefits that they've been promised. In addition to that, there's likely going to be some sort of mandatory payment plan or bailout or something that taxpayers in Illinois or otherwise are also going to have to be contributing to these pensions. So it's a lose-lose for everybody, bankruptcy. So that's a situation we need to try to avoid at all costs. But if we keep going down the road that Pritzker has pushed us on, it's almost going to be inevitable.
We're visiting with Bryce Hill from the Illinois Policy Institute, and we'll tell you how to find the report that he wrote here in just a moment. Okay, so Bryce, with this, you mentioned the pensions, which has been a driving force for a lot of this already. Does it look like some of this is political payoff? And I don't need to get into the Republican Democrat type of stuff here, but this public sector unions, I mean, while a lot of people have been suffering around the state because of bad government, the public sector unions, some of them are sitting pretty.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's a massive conflict of interest there when public sector unions are some of the largest, if not the largest, political contributors in the state, getting politicians at the state and local level reelected. So it's an incredibly backwards to, on basically the same side of the bargaining table, have public sector unions and lawmakers against taxpayers. There's no balance there. So I tend to agree. There is a bit of an imbalance there. And that's part of the reason why this $13 billion proposal is just part of a larger push by public sector unions in the state. The real ask that they've asked for state lawmakers to do is a $60 billion pension benefits increase that would not only allow greater shares of their salary to go towards their pension, but it would lower retirement ages, expand future cost of living adjustments for their pension benefits, so guaranteed raises in their retirement benefits, shrinking the number of years that are used to calculate your final average salary, which is essentially a pay raise also. Mm-hmm. So this is part of a much larger push, and part of the reason why we've struggled so much to either, one, see pension reform, and why pension benefits have gotten so out of control in the state for many workers is because of that element that you brought up, is that public sector pensions are really on the inside baseball track for state politics.
Okay, so Bryce, last couple of minutes we've got here. Let's talk about what it means to everybody. And you've touched on it just in just a second. I mean, with my IRA, or somebody's 401k, if we mismanage that or the market tanks and we lose the money, that just means it sucks for me. But in this case right here, those benefits you've mentioned, the money's just not there to pay what's already promised, much less what's being proposed. At some point that bill comes due, and it's a contract with the state. So it'll be easy for somebody to say, well, I just work a private sector job. I'm not in the public sector union. Doesn't affect me, but it eventually this is going to affect every Illinoisan though, right?
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. So pensions in Illinois are what is called a defined benefit structure. So whereas your normal private sector retirement accounts are defined contribution, you pay in the amount that you pay in every single year. And then when it comes time to retire, you get whatever money you have based on your contributions and your investments. That's not how public sector pensions work in Illinois. It's a defined benefit, meaning that there's a guarantee that taxpayers will fund whatever benefits the government promised you, regardless of how much money you, the individual, or the employer, the state put in, or what the investment performance was of your investments over that time period. So it's a taxpayer guarantee that that those benefits are going to be paid out. And that's why this $150 billion shortfall potentially is such an important issue, is because that represents generations worth of future tax hikes, service cuts. You know, we are already spending more than 20% of the state budget on pension contributions alone. That situation is going to get worse and worse over time if that number continues to grow and as more of these public servants begin to reach retirement age.
And so I don't want to get hyperbolic, but you said generations of tax increases. And that's, I think that's might be because at some point it may be that road, that highway is dangerous to drive on. Well, we don't have the money for it, but, you know, because there's a contract to pay out these excessively generous pensions, at some point that may mean, well, we don't even get to make the choice. We're contractually obligated to pay off these. That could affect highways, that could affect emergency services, that could affect education, that could affect all of these things. And that's why I'm glad you're kind of sounding the alarm on this right now. What's the mood in the legislature from what you can tell from a policy perspective on this? I mean, you know, it's obviously dominated by the Democrats and very, very far to the left. But is there any conversation about, hey, maybe we should have a little fiscal sanity in this discussion?
There are some conversations occurring. I will say a few weeks ago, I was testifying in Springfield in a Senate committee on the state of affairs of Illinois' pension systems. But we were the only voice there representing taxpayers. We were the only people there that wasn't representing the public sector unions, either the members themselves or the systems, the administrators of the systems. Those are the only people that were there to testify out of probably nearly a dozen people slated to speak. Illinois Policy is the only one there representing the voice of taxpayers. So while there are questions being asked by these lawmakers of, hey, how much is this going to cost potentially? You know, is this something that's truly necessary right now? It's definitely the minority of people who are thinking that way, and we're certainly the minority of people who are actually out there advocating that no, we do not need this. This is the exact opposite of what we need, in fact. So there is some, but it's a small group of us right now.
All right, and then we find that article I just referenced that you wrote, and all your colleagues where?
IllinoisPolicy.org or at Illinois Policy on all social media. You can find that plus much more.
All right, we'll talk to you again soon, Bryce. Thanks so much for the update.
Thanks, Bryce.
Thank you.
All right, 314-912-1019. Got some thoughts on that. I mean, I know that hearing like pensions and stuff, it gets dry.
Yeah.
Here's the bottom line. You're being taxed out of your livelihoods in Illinois, and what the governor wants to do is make it worse.
That's right.
Make it more expensive to live there, while the fat cat unions, the public sector unions, end up just living large on your back. That's what they're talking about doing.
And your kids.
Your kids.
If they're unlucky enough not to escape Illinois.
Yeah, precisely. You know, just a week or two ago, the governor's like, we got to do more for, colleges here because our students are going to school somewhere else and they never come home.
No kidding.
No self-awareness to go, gee, why is that, Governor? Because of what you're doing?
Maybe.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Colombo and Company.
On Friday, we'll recap the week and get you the latest on the government shutdown debate, plus an update on the incoming weather from Steve Templeton with the weekend forecast at 2:45.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
The Franklin County Republican Central Committee invites you to their annual Lincoln Reagan Day Banquet, Thursday, March 27th, at the Triple Three Vineyards in Washington, Missouri. Enjoy a wonderful dinner catered by the Tilted Skillet, with keynote speaker for the evening, our new Secretary of State, Detty Hoskins. The evening includes a 50-50 drawing, gun raffle, and opportunity to meet local and statewide elected officials. For more information and to get your tickets, visit fcrcc.org. That's fcrcc.org.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi there, Chris Cooper here, Serenity Wealth Management. Joining me in studio for the Serenity Wealth Now radio show this week, we've got Lindsay Grillo of Birdies and Barrels and Grillo's Chop and Barrel out in Lake St. Louis. We're going to talk about hobbies. We're going to talk about fun. We're going to talk a little bit about golf and some whiskey and making sure that you enjoy the lifestyle you deserve. Tune in this week, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., right here on News Talk STL.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
And then the media.
101.9 and 94.1.
They lying about what's going on in America. They lying about it.
News Talk STL. The 80s. Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it. Shall we play a game? Never will be.
Where are they?
It's Flashback Friday.
You know, most folks consider the Pretenders a British band, but Chrissie Hynde, the lead singer, is from Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Underrated band.
Yeah.
I found a picture of you.
And there's like us people from like the children of the 80s who are like, Pretenders are awesome. But I don't think they're appreciated as much as they should be. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Oh, hey, did you guys watch that? And were you just enthralled when you were watching that debate between Tashara Jones and Cara Spencer last night?
I mean, I didn't really. I mean, I was
all right,
kind of,
hey guys, today is Pi Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I'm
Pi
really
Day.
excited for
Pi
Pi
Day.
Day. Yeah, and 3.14159 is kind of part of our cheer over at the institute. So
Because of course it is.
Because of course
it is. Exactly. All right. No, today is because it's the 314. It is Pi Day. Of course, there's also going to be a whole lot of like St. Louis 314 stuff.
Yeah, 314 is
on
a
this
big deal. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So
and of course the confection, the dessert is
right.
kind of important to this
That's
day.
what I was actually talking about.
I'm
but
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm sorry. I was my mind was still in the numbers.
So between Mental Floss website,
which
they used to have a magazine. I don't know if they still do or not, but that maybe it's just the website now. And Instacart, they actually did a look at what's America's favorite pies. So the list is a lot of these are what you would probably think. There's a couple surprises on here.
Apple's got to be a big deal.
I say apple.
You say apple?
I say apple.
All right. Well, the number one most popular favorite pie that America loves is apple pie.
That's right. As American as apple pie.
There you
That's
go.
right. Yeah. Baseball and apple pie.
Hey, I'll ask that out on social media. All right. Rumble, Facebook, Twitter. Folks, favorite pie on this Pie Day? We just had an awesome Pie Day because Camellia Peterson from Americans for Prosperity was here, 1 week ago. And she home baked us
Maybe
pie.
the largest apple
Oh
pie
my
in
gosh,
history.
that thing was huge.
It had to be a good 5 pounds.
It was at least. It was
like
massive.
that. There was a bag of apples used.
Yeah.
in that
And
pie.
it was awesome.
Delicious.
What's your all's favorite pie? Let's hear. All right, so let's get the reactions here.
I will admit to a seasonal one though.
What's that?
Pumpkin. I love.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, sure.
For
Sure,
November,
yeah.
December.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's my daughter's favorite one,
Mm-hmm.
but when she does have pumpkin pie, you really can't see the pie because you see this massive pile of whipped cream.
Yeah, the mound of whipped cream. Yeah,
Still just raised his
Same,
hand. He's like,
same,
yeah, I get it.
Same.
Okay, so the only one that kind of surprises me, although I really do like it, number 10 on the list is sweet potato pie.
That's one of my favorites.
I
actually
like sweet potato pie.
I was going to mention that. It's now a lot of people get it mixed up with pumpkin pie. They are not the same.
No.
They
not in the least bit.
they look a little like the same.
Yeah,
they're not the same.
Let's see here. Okay, so number 9, peach pie.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of peaches to begin with.
Yeah.
So peach pie is like,
I can enjoy one if it's there. It's probably not my first choice, but it's all right.
Doesn't do much for me. I love peaches, but
Yeah.
not a big fan of peach pie.
Okay, number 8 is horribly underrated. It should be at the top. My favorite, key lime pie.
key lime. That's
Ooh,
right.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
Janet's favorite.
Kathy's
Yeah.
favorite too.
Okay, so now number 7 on the list is it's either really good or really bad if you don't get it right. Chocolate pie.
Oh yeah. It could seem like mildly chocolatey tasting pudding in a crust.
What's the one that the Tippins restaurants do? French silk pie.
French silk.
If you get like a
yeah.
chocolate pie like that, oh,
Mhm.
that's awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see here. Number 6 is a blueberry pie.
Yeah.
Number 5, and I do like these two, lemon meringue pie.
Oh,
I like just about anything
Love
with
it.
lemons.
My mom loved lemon meringue.
One lemon meringue pie. One
There
lemon
you
meringue
go.
pie coming up. Your
All
pie,
right.
sir.
Number 4, and Corporeal being on Rumble will agree with this one. Number 4 on the list is cherry pie. Can't go wrong with that.
There's a song about it.
That's right, there is. Yeah. And the funny part was the singer who wrote that song hated that song.
He hated that song.
From Warrant, cherry pie. Number 3, this was my dad's favorite. I have never enjoyed this, but pecan pie.
Oh, I love pecan.
Or pecan pie,
Yes.
depending on where you're from.
Pecan.
And then number 2, pumpkin pie.
All right. There you
As
go.
well. Can't go wrong. What's your favorite? Let me know. Send me a note on social media here. All right, 7:30. We've got Matt Chambers from KMOV. Listen, we're not trying to do the whole apocalyptic scare you thing. This is a pretty strong storm moving through the area.
Gotta
You
let
just
you
need
know.
to be aware of what's happening in the timetable. So we're going to get that update from Matt right after we hear from one Mr. Larry Connors.
Larry's going to somehow pose the item that leftists have no shortage of ways to spend your money.
Of course.
Golly, didn't we just do this with Pritzker in Illinois?
Yeah.
Back on the chain gang.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A warm and windy day on tap before powerful thunderstorms rumble in this evening and tonight. 83 for the high. That's near record territory, but winds gusting above 45 miles per hour at times starting this afternoon. The timing on these storms, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. for the listening area. In the metro, 8 to 11 p.m. Destructive winds, a few tornadoes, hail, all possible. Cooler for Saturday, but still above normal. Partly sunny, up to 72 with a spot shower possible. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
McGuire Moving is silver certified, which means they are great at relocating senior citizens. In fact, McGuire is a household name because McGuire understands the stress involved when moving older adults. So if you or family members need help moving, I highly recommend McGuire Moving. 314-241-0600. 241-0600. Get a free in-home estimate. McGuireMoving.com.
Larry Connors Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connors Commentary on News Talk STL.
Let me count the ways that leftists were spending our tax dollars. Actually, I have to admit, I can't count that high, but I can give you some recent examples of wasteful spending. This is money that would have been spent on programs, except that the Doge team caught them and canceled them. Some examples, $75,000 for researching structural racism. What is that?
Also $740,000 for examining social networks among Black and Latino sexual minority men in New Jersey. Why are they focusing on New Jersey? And almost $700,000 for studying cannabis use among sexual minority, gender diverse individuals. Do you really care? These were all monies and grants inside the National Institutes of Health that was going to be carried out if the Biden team had stayed in office or if Kamala got in. Well, DOJ found all of it and canceled it. Oh, and then there's this $620,000 for LGBT inclusive teen pregnancy prevention program for transgender boys. There's a quote, "The waste of money cures itself, for soon you keep wasting it, there will be no more waste."
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
My sponsor, Wellington Environmental, has helped thousands deal with hazardous materials. Hospitals, offices, schools, even homes. Here's something new. Wellington now offers dustless blasting. This is just like sandblasting, but without all the dust and emissions. Wellington uses everything from ground glass, walnuts, corn, even dry ice pellets. One university had Wellington remove their parking lot striping because dustless blasting is fast and it does not damage the concrete. So as a business or homeowner, I'm sure you could use this process. Industrial tanks, swimming pools, graffiti on buildings. And in fact, Wellington is blasting a Texaco station that will be revised as an historic building. Check the website for details and photos. WellingtonSTL.com. WellingtonSTL.com.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit STLFenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
News, analysis, opinion.
Don't always agree, but in love listening to your radio station.
This is tyrannical stuff they're doing.
Elections have consequences. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Out of Wales, it's The Alarm.
Oh, wow. Got some deep cuts being requested for Flashback Friday.
Yeah,
here
got
today.
some good ones. Sold me down the river.
Nice. All right, don't panic, but be aware things could get a little bumpy tonight when it comes to the weather. So we got the update from Matt Chambers at KMOV weather team who joins us right now. But before we get into that, Matt, we're getting a lot of people referring to a Pi Day here. And your favorite is what?
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm a Metro Easter, and there's a place called Peel over there in O'Fallon, Illinois. Wood-fired pizzas. They've got a mushroom pizza with like this, instead of, a tomato sauce, it's like a creamy Parmesan sauce. Oh, my God. I'm sure it's the least healthy option on the menu, but I love it.
You're thinking of the other pie.
Yeah, you're thinking of the other pie. On
You were going sweet, not savory. See, you could tell where can you tell I've been up since like 11:30 last night?
You haven't had dinner, have you?
Wow. Does Boston cream pie count?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
That's a new
does.
one. Yeah. Nice.
Yes, it does. That's a great choice.
Yeah.
Buck's mom just threw in on Rumble banana cream pie as well. That's a good one, too.
Oh, yeah. Underrated.
Oh, without a doubt. Okay, Matt, first of all, let me compliment what you and your team and your colleagues are doing there. You're covering this storm that's coming in, and we're getting the details here in just a second, but you're going out of your way to not hyperbolize and scare people while still saying, hey, this could be a storm that really packs a wallop. So I just appreciate the framing that you're doing this to say, be aware, be careful, but don't run around like your hair's on fire. So we have too many media outlets that do that sort of thing. So I wanted to make sure I complimented you on the framing that you're doing with all of this.
Mike, I got to say, I really appreciate that. And I actually talked about this on the air a little bit this morning because while we were on the air, I got an email from a viewer talking about how her anxiety level is just through the roof in these kinds of situations. And until I was about, 12, 13 years old, I had a ridiculous weather phobia. I mean, it was off the charts bad. So I sympathize. I get it. But what turned that around for me was understanding that if you know how these things work, if you know what's expected to happen, and you know what to do as a reaction to that, you're going to be fine. There's a 99.9% chance that you're going to be fine. So I appreciate you pointing that out.
Yeah. So let's talk about what's in store. We know that in about 12 hours, a storm is moving through. It looks like a very strong storm. When you look at the maps on KMOV.com and the others, St. Louis is like basically right in the middle of this whole thing. So what is it that we can expect? And then let's apply what we need to know right after that. But what do the current forecast and the models look like?
Great question. So with the understanding that this is likely going to happen, I mean, it does look like a severe weather outbreak. The ingredients are coming together for this. Let's talk timing. All right. I know you guys have a wide listening area. So western third or so of the listening area, 7 to 9 p.m. is the ETA on this. I'm talking about Rolla, Sullivan, Warrenton, just past Wentzville up to Bowling Green, right around the metro now. So now we're talking about St. Charles County, St. Louis County, the city, Jeffco, the Metro East counties like St. Clair County, Madison County, 8 to 11 p.m. And this morning, I nudged that back. I mean, from Steve Templeton's forecast last night, maybe 30 to 60 minutes. So when we're making that kind of granular change, that tells you the forecast is pretty dialed in at this point. And then eastern third of the area, Vandalia, Centralia, back towards Florida, it's more like 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So that's the timing. Let's talk about the hazards. My biggest concern is wind damage. I think there's going to be some destructive wind gusts in excess of 75, maybe 80 miles per hour. That's enough to at least bring limbs down, if not bring some trees down. And then when you start talking about that, now you're talking about power outages potentially, and you've got to be prepared for that. That said, the threat of, and this is where, again, don't want to scare people, just telling you what I see in the data, the threat of tornadoes is pretty significant as well. And if the ingredients come together just right, one or two of these tornadoes could be on the stronger side, kind of an EF2 or above on what we call the enhanced Fujita scale, the scale that we use to rate tornadoes from 0 up to 5. And then behind all of that would be the threat of some hail, maybe some golf ball sized hail. But I really think if we wake up with damage on Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, most of it is going to come from wind, if that makes sense.
Hey, good morning, Matt. Stal Ponticus here. Quick question for you. Is this a storm that will be more like a squall line as opposed to a storm that's spread out over everywhere?
That is a superb question. And yes, squall line 100%. Think about this. If you've got a car that drives by, you're standing still, and you've got a car that drives by at 65, 70 miles per hour, how long is that car in your line of sight? Not very long, right? That is literally the pace at which we expect these storms to be moving. They're going to be moving 60, 65, 70 miles per hour, which again is one of the prime reasons why we're most concerned about wind damage. So to get back to how that relates to your question, these things are only going to affect your particular address for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes tops. So I'm giving you kind of these windows of arrival and exit time. But the reality is the storm itself in any one location is only going to last for a half an hour or so. It's just the strength of the storm during that time that we're most concerned with. So yes, line of storms moving from west to east across the area. Great question.
Yeah. So 60, 65 miles an hour. So the storm's going to be moving past and through, just like somebody driving on Limburg, basically. All right. Matt Chambers, I know you got to get to the TV thing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the update. And people should be checking KMOV, and I know you got a good weather app to make sure there's not any changes. But it sounds like we kind of know what to expect. It's just a matter of be aware, know what to do if the sirens go off, and we should be fine.
That's right. Final word, have multiple ways to get the warning. You mentioned our app. That's a great way to do it. But, I don't want to be a shameless self-promoter. NOAA Weather Radio works. Your favorite weather app works. Just be able to have multiple sources to get these warnings as they roll through tonight.
All right, Matt, thanks so much for the update. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.
You bet.
All right. And I respect the Boston cream pie.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a great addition to the list here.
It is, absolutely. All right, it is 7:38 right now, and I think that's the right approach here, because listen, something's going to get probably blown over in your yard.
Mhm.
All right,
Yes.
maybe it's your plant, maybe it's some rain, and look for the things that could happen. But at the same time, if we know what to expect, you take the basic precautions. Know which room in the house that everybody should go to if the worst happens.
Right. And we've got warning systems for that.
Right,
They'll let you know.
They'll let you know. And then just go ahead and watch your shows until the power goes out. It'll be fine.
Pretty much that's it.
And then just download it and watch it.
Watch it on your phone.
Yeah. All right. Okay. 7:38. Did you see this? It's another one of those ugly American things that's embarrassing to all of us. Did you see this thing? For crying out loud. Okay. This is unbelievable.
This is why we can't travel and not be accosted. by
Oh my
people.
goodness. And I've traveled internationally, and every once in a while they figure out that you're from the US, and then you get the side eye. It's like, are they going to be one of them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So another case of the ugly American. And of course, to make it worse, it's one of these wannabe influencers who must be like the worst part of anything. So what happened here is there's and I've never heard of her, Samantha Jones. I don't know who that is. But she's down in Australia. I guess she's either staying long-term or she's living down there. I don't know, but she's in Australia. And she and somebody, boyfriend, I don't know, whoever it is, brother, I don't know who it is.
Cameraman.
Yeah, cameraman, whatever. They found out in Australia a mama and a baby wombat.
Yes. Now these are adorable, pudgy little guys.
Right.
They're ground marsupials.
Yes. And so she thought it would be funny to have him roll the camera, and then she ran up and snatched the baby from the mama and then ran back towards the camera to show off that she was holding a baby wombat. Here's what it sounded like.
Just caught a baby wombat. Look at the mother. It's like, oh, it's chasing after her.
I caught a baby wombat. Okay, Mama's right there. Let's let him go. All right, let's let him go. Come here, Mama.
And then she gave the baby back to the mother.
Yeah, but not before both of them were in complete distress.
Right.
Yeah, those little squeaky noises. I think that was the baby.
That was the baby.
Baby
like,
calling
hissing,
for mom.
Right.
Yeah, and
that's exactly what. That was.
and mom's doing the best she can. Like the thing is, these are such docile animals.
Mm-hmm.
Australia has some animals that will kill you.
Yeah.
Right? They will F you up and they don't care.
Yeah.
The wombats, koalas, they're so chill. Which is why you could kind of just go. Imagine trying to go up and pick up a baby raccoon in America. That doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
In Australia,
don't do that.
In Australia, it's possible and to escape with all your limbs, but you shouldn't.
No. And the thing was, and it wasn't like, she was there to, do a Steve Irwin type of animal.
She's
show.
not doing a nature show.
She
She doesn't know what
she's wearing
doing.
a sundress at night, running around, and then, look at this. We got the the mama's chasing us. Okay. So here's the reaction from Australia. Obviously, the people there are pissed.
Oh, they're livid, I imagine.
They are angry. And now even the prime minister has slammed her and ordered a review. Like, look at her visa. They're talking about canceling her visa and literally kicking her out of the country.
Yeah.
And the prime minister has said, we're not going to let her back in.
Right.
As in she's going to be banned from an entire continent.
That's amazing.
Because you wanted to get a video. And the thing is, I saw this video because somebody retweeted it.
Mhm.
I don't follow her. I don't know who it is, but it
started making the rounds.
Yeah, it showed up
basically.
on my feed last night.
Mhm.
And I saw it. And the first thing I thought was, well, you're an effing idiot.
Yeah.
And how could you be? I mean, I like animals. I like the critters. And that just made me mad. And then I realized she was in Australia.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, oh, great. Another dumb American running somewhere else, doing something to mess with the locals' stuff. because they like their animals.
Yeah.
In Australia. I mean, we see some of these critters and we're like, oh no, I ran over this thing. Great. We don't like them either.
Yeah.
That's not the way they do it there.
No,
you
no.
know?
I say let her fight it out with a kangaroo.
That's the punishment, right?
Oh,
It's like, you are sentenced to combat by kangaroo.
And
I would support that.
Oh,
by the
I
way.
would too. Yeah. It's kind of like a game of pouches. You know, and then I said the videos, she's deleted the video, but it's out there.
Oh yeah, the internet is forever. Guys.
Yeah, and I don't know what would go through somebody's head to say, oh, this is going to be great content. Let me steal a baby animal from its mother in the wild.
Yeah.
In a country from which I am not.
Right. Seriously. You know, it's not an easy thing to be like one of these Steve Irwin types where you're actually interacting with wild animals in nature. They're actually they're trained professionals. They're animal behaviorist.
And still look what happened to Steve Irwin.
And look what happened to Steve Irwin. So you can't just play around in nature and think you're going to record things like a documentary maker. Those guys are professionals. Do not try this at home.
Yeah, I mean,
and certainly don't try it in another country.
Right. I mean, would I love to hold a baby wombat? Absolutely.
Oh heck yeah.
So if I'm ever like at one of those traveling
zoos.
displays or a zoo where they let you do that, fine. But what an idiot.
That's so crazy.
You know, and this is why, like, if somebody says, what do you do? Or you ask somebody what they do for a living and they go, I'm a content creator. Shut up. Just walk away. Just roll your eyes and just keep going. You know?
Yeah, well, there are so many of them who give, the decent ones a bad name. It's kind of, it's pretty horrible. I don't like it.
Stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's your typical thing, young, pretty gal, wearing a sundress,
trying to make a name
for herself. Well, congratulations, you made a name for yourself. I don't know how big her following is, but those of us who don't follow you types, you influencer types, now we know who you are. So congratulations, we know your name, and now we don't like you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she faffoed in the most Australian sort of way.
Right, exactly. All right, hey, it's 7:45 coming up on 7:50 on a Friday. You know what that means?
Not today, Satan.
Right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
By the way, Mike, I got to toss in one little trivia note on the Alarm. Being a band from Wales,
a
lot of young guys when they started out, they were not originally known as the Alarm. This is a good trivia question. Their original name was the Toilets.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
And then they hired a manager, and he goes, "Hey, first thing, guys, I have an idea.
We're not putting this on a marquee anywhere.
No, we're not.
Oh
no.
my God.
Across my chest, got your name written on it. Love's a drug that I live by.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com.
I beg you, please come back.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros, your all-in-one gutter service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. We discovered Gutter Pros a few years ago when we bought our home and inherited a gutter issue that was on the road to becoming a potentially big problem, but thanks to Gutter Pros was stopped before causing any major damage. They've also repaired the siding on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros are also the best for siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros can help your home at gutterpros.com.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have?
Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Metro Shooting Supplies is a gun enthusiast ultimate destination. With over 400 rental guns, you can try before you buy. Serving Metro St. Louis for over 20 years, we offer the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms. Buy a new gun and get a free $200 range membership located at Fifi and St. Charles Rock Road. Metro Shooting Supplies, where shooting meets expertise. Visit buylearnshoot.com.
Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airwaves for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-6766. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
The 80s.
Bueller. The 80s.
Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it. Shall we play a game? Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things that I wanna say. You know I like my girls a little bit older. I just wanna use your love tonight. I don't wanna lose your love tonight. I ain't got many friends that
If you had to have an album of this is what the 80s sounded like,
this is on it.
You would have to have this
This is
song
absolutely on it. Well, and what's also funny about some of these 80s songs, it's like, we like to think of it as a more innocent time, but if you listen to the lyrics of this song,
yeah, I have.
Like, this sounds like a fun poppy rock song, and you're just going in like, wait a minute, what did he just say?
That's right.
It kind of reminds me of
It's a song about an affair.
Yeah, yes. It just, now it kind of reminds me of being an adult and looking back at movies I thought were just these wholesome classics. Well, that's because as a kid, I only saw the TV edits of those movies.
Yeah.
So when I bought them on DVD, I was like, "This is an R-rated movie."
Oh yeah.
And I saw a lot of scenes that I do not remember from this movie.
Right. I've got a story on that. When Rachel and I were dating, she said she's going to bring her boys over to my apartment at the time. And she goes, let's pick out a couple movies and just kind of everybody gets to know each other. And
family movie night kind of thing.
And
pseudo family.
One of them was, I'm like, oh, I've got Braveheart.
Oh,
and she was not worried about the violence, which is in a historical context.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
But I'd gotten so used to watching Braveheart on USA Network back at the time
because they were playing it every week.
I forgot about the secret wedding night scene.
Yeah.
And so we're watching that, and it was all in context. It's not gratuitous,
but
there are boobies.
Yes, and you had the underage boys sitting there.
Like, I forgot about this part
with their mom.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
I forgot that was in there.
Yeah,
because I'd gotten so used to the TV.
The TV edits. The TV edits did it for 80s movies.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
all right, it is 7:51. Probably the other thing the boss is now going to talk to me about. What are you talking about on here? You know what that means.
It's the weird, the wacky, and the worrisome. These are the stories that make you say,
Look on the devil.
Oh, hell no.
This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening. Devil.
Just know where to be sure.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Amen.
An iron-stomached speed eater.
What?
That's a good way to start one, isn't it?
Is that on his business card?
Yes, I think so. An iron-stomached speed eater broke a Guinness World Record by eating 25 Carolina Reaper chili peppers in under 5 minutes.
Hell no.
Whoa.
Yeah, let me explain for those of you who are not in the know here. Okay, so Mike Jack, a Canadian YouTuber, an influencer, famous for his high tolerance for spicy food, broke the Guinness World Record for the fastest time to eat 25 Carolina Reaper chili peppers at Goat Fest in Kitchener, Ontario, clocking in at 4 minutes and 36.26 seconds. Now, as a reminder, a pepper's spiciness is measured using the Scoville heat units.
Right.
And while your average jalapeno will range from 4,000 to 8,500, the Carolina Reapers used for this challenge measure about 1.6 million Scovilles. Yeah, so he ate 25 of those in quick succession.
This isn't a measurement of how fast he can eat those peppers. This is a measurement of how dumb he is.
Yeah, I mean, here's a quote from him. I might make it look a little easier than it is, but I'm burning up here. I really feel it. Jack told Guinness World Records. The peppers, they really hurt a lot.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing that could probably give you an ulcer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That can damage your entire intestinal tract.
If you want to see another, there's a show called what's the one where they get the celebrity types and they interview them, but eating increasingly hot wings.
Yes,
the increasingly hot, and they show the Scoville
the heat scale. Yeah,
the heat scale.
Oh man,
I forgot what that's called.
I love that thing because they're being intervieved while
and it just goes up with each question. There's a different hotter sauce.
They're coughing, their faces all red, and they're down in milk like by the gallon.
The interviews last until they tap out.
Yes.
As Tombstone says, I told you I was burning up here.
I was burning up here. Man, it's see, the thing is, after eating stuff like that, you can probably breathe fire.
Oh yeah,
out of both ends.
Yes.
All right. In our second story here, no one was injured, but there were significant losses when a tractor trailer in Maine caught fire, destroying its load of curly fries.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Now, if you're a fry enthusiast like Janet Pfeiffer, this is a true tragedy. This is absolute tragedy here. The York Fire Department responded alongside Kittery fire crews when more than 30 calls came in to 911 reporting a truck on fire on southbound Interstate 95. It was quickly determined that the cargo was frozen curly fries and not a hazardous material. That was kind of the important part for the York Fire Department there. And they said that on social media. The firefighters used about 6,000 gallons of water to extinguish the flames, but the tractor trailer and its spud snack cargo were a total loss, firefighters wrote.
But it probably for a little bit smelled really good.
Yeah. Just there was a window in there.
There's a short time where they were just baked just right.
Yes. Oh man. And yes, the fact that they were burnt to a crisp, absolute tragedy.
Yeah.
Anybody got some ketchup?
Yeah, seriously. Maybe if they used ketchup, they could have put the fire out faster than using 6,000 gallons of water. All right, our last story here. All of these stories happen to involve food for some reason. You can tell where my brain's at. A 4-year-old Wisconsin boy called 911 to report, quote, his mom was being bad by eating his ice cream.
No, God, please, no,
Mom! Okay, the Village of Mount Pleasant Police Department said on social media that 2 officers responded to a home where they were informed by the little boy that his mom ate his ice cream and needed to go to jail. The boy's hardcore.
No kidding.
He's like, do not mess. Look, the boy eventually changed his mind about his mother's punishment, saying that he really just wanted some ice cream. In recognition of his mercy, the responding officers returned to the home the next day with some ice cream for him. So it's look. I'm not condoning what the kid did. I mean, you don't call 911 for non-emergencies. No. You don't tie up the police. Although it sounds like York is probably a really safe place if you could just send 2 officers to deliver ice cream. But look, I kind of understand.
Yeah.
Because look, have you ever had something you put in the fridge that's just for you?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you mark it. Sometimes everybody knows this was yours. You had it last night for dinner at the restaurant. Right. You were looking forward to the second helping, but it's gone when you get back to the refrigerator. Okay, that's never happened to me. I'm sure.
Obviously
not. See, so I get it. Look, I'm a giving kind of guy. I'm happy to share lots of things, but when it comes to people trying to eat my food, I may not call the cops on you, but you know what I'm saying.
took on the devil.
Oh, hell no.
This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Devil.
Somewhere to be sure.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Amen.
I could just imagine, ma'am, explain yourself.
Right.
We have a theft call.
Yeah. I would have loved to have been one of the responding
That
officers.
had to be hilarious.
Yeah, I would have tried to take it as seriously as I possibly could.
Yep.
Just like, excuse me, ma'am.
Because you got the camera.
Yeah,
You know,
the
that's
body
right.
cam.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh my gosh, 4 years old. And, well, at least he knows how to dial 911 in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
Now, granted, his judgment about what qualifies as an emergency might be off because he's 4, but at least he knows.
I'm not going to totally disagree with the kid. I'm just saying.
All right, now what flavor are you beating people? What flavor of ice cream are you calling the cops on
I think
somebody?
like the mint chocolate.
Yeah, if you stole my
the mint with the little chocolate chips
if
in
you
it.
stole my mint chocolate chip,
Or we're gonna throw down if you try to take my Heath bar.
oh,
ice cream.
there you go.
Yeah.
Stel?
I think for me, it would probably be, and I know this is a little bit different. I really enjoy what used to be called New York cherry ice cream. I don't know now if it's just called cherry ice cream, but when I was a kid, that was one of my favorites, along with chocolate.
Now, is that the one that was it was cherry flavored throughout, but it had little bits of cherry in it?
It had actual cherries,
like the Marciano cherries.
Yeah,
those are good.
I think I've had that ice cream before.
When we made it in our restaurant, my dad would just throw a whole bottle full of the maraschino cherries.
Oh, and into vanilla and just kind of
yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
big mixing machine.
I'd call the cops if somebody. Yeah. I changed my. I'm with the kid.
Straight to jail.
I'm with the kid. That's
Straight
right.
to jail.
Hey, Jamie Allman here for O'Fallon Family Floors, O'FallonFamilyFloors.com. Brian and his team, they're just amazing people. They're so proud of their operation. Pride in every installation. You could see that in the Google reviews. Pride in the great quality, pride in the great pricing, pride in the great variety, and pride in the fact that you can go into the store right off of Highway K at O'Fallon, or the store will come to you. That's the promise of O'Fallon Family Floors, O'FallonFamilyFloors.com.
Jeffco Patriot Radio. Every week, get the stories and insider analysis of what is really happening in Jefferson County.
We are basically kind of doing a little Tim Jones radio here with a focus on Jefferson County. My co-host, Billy Crow.
We're really excited to show the people of the region everything that Jefferson County has to offer.
Jeffco Patriot Radio. If it's a big story in Jefferson County, you'll hear about it on Jeffco Patriot Radio. Sundays at noon on News Talk STL.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump says the ball is in the Senate Democrats' court when it comes to averting a partial government shutdown.
Ahead of tonight's midnight deadline to pass a funding bill, the president began casting blame on Democrats for any potential disruptions in federal services.
If it shuts down, it's not the Republicans' fault.
Republicans need several Democrats to pass House legislation that would keep the government funded through the end of September. Yesterday, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said he was unwilling to risk a shutdown and said he would support the bill. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A couple of federal judges tell the Trump administration it crossed the line in its firing of thousands of government probationary workers. One of the judges ordering a half dozen agencies to rehire the fired employees, the administration vowing an appeal. The chronically financially troubled post office says it's on board with the DOGE agenda.
According to a letter sent to congressional members, the Postal Service plans to cut 10,000 workers and billions of dollars from its budget. The plan calls for DOGE to assist USPS with addressing, quote, big problems at the $78 billion a year agency. USPS says mismanagement of its retirement assets and workers' compensation program, along with regulatory requirements, have restricted, quote, normal business practice. USPS currently employs about 640,000 workers. Mike Hempen, Washington.
Chaos aboard an American Airlines plane had to make an emergency landing in Denver yesterday. An engine burst into flames, prompting emergency evacuations. A dozen people to the hospital suffering minor injuries. Former U.S. Senator Alan Simpson of Wyoming has died. He was 93. Watching Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures 275 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, it's big. Rob Schmidt recently beat CNN in key ratings as millions are tuning into Newsmax. Every night, Rob Schmidt is on Newsmax revealing the truth about Elon Musk's Doge. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern and find out why Rob is the hottest person in cable news. Even President Trump is watching, and he says Newsmax is terrific. Reuters Institute reports that Newsmax is now one of the top news brands in America. Find out why. Just check out Newsmax on your cable system. Get Rob Schmidt with Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and much more. Download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone or home TV to start watching. It takes just seconds. With Newsmax Plus, you can watch our great shows anytime. Go to newsmaxplus.com and start your free trial. That's newsmaxplus.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A warm and windy day on tap before powerful thunderstorms rumble in this evening and tonight. 83 for the high. That's near record territory, but winds gusting above 45 miles per hour at times starting this afternoon. The timing on these storms, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. for the listening area. In the metro, 8 to 11 p.m. Destructive winds, a few tornadoes, hail, all possible. Cooler for Saturday, but still above normal. Partly sunny, up to 72 with a spot shower possible. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL, brought to you by Jewels on Hampton, paying some of the highest prices for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Call 314-752-5000 or visit jewelsonhampton.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Gabe Pfeiffer.
There's something serious I have to tell you about the future.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm.
Get up, St. Louis.
Let's knock it off.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
It's Friday.
All right, here's what's going on. By the way, we're getting people who a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on food today.
Yeah, it seems to be a good touchstone for a lot of people.
Y'all hungry out there? Is that what we're saying? Y'all hungry?
That's what we're talking about. I mean, it's also 314 day, right? So
Pie day, yeah.
It's pie day, so you got pies going on. That's kind of part of the conversation. Pies necessarily lead people to think of ice cream.
That's right.
So there's all that, but there's also it's 314 day.
Right.
So then all the St. Louis foods now are kind of on your mind. You got gooey butter cake and what do you call them? Toasted ravs and Provel cheese. I
saw one of those lists of 314 day deals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can work in some. Man, that's a lot. I don't even know where to start on that. But also, we're heading into St. Patrick's Day because people are going to start drinking. Well, like an hour ago,
right?
For Monday's St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, there's a lot going on. But Pie Day, because we asked the question, "What's your favorite pie?" Because we did the list of the most popular according to what was it? Mental Floss and Instacart.
Right.
And then also Matt Chambers, he thought we meant pizza pie.
Oh, see, he opened up a whole nother.
So now
area.
I'm like, well, now we've got to debate because I have one of the controversial opinions. on that, so maybe we'll have to do that too here.
Now we got to talk about that.
All right, 8:06 here as well. A few things that are happening. The suspect in the Afton racist vandalism case probably didn't expect to be turned in by this person. I'll tell you who in just about a minute. Also, I am not going to get my government shut down after all. Thanks a lot, Democrats, you jerks. Although, man, Democrats are angry at one of their main leaders right now for caving in on this and going along with Trump and the Republicans. They're mad.
You know, they had those meetings yesterday, and from stories that I heard, there were folks on other floors who could hear the shouting going on.
Aisha Hasney from Fox News was tweeting out that she could hear one particular senator, Gillibrand, screaming from the other side of the doors of those meetings.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's what she was reporting on social media yesterday.
Man.
All right. So also we've got a weather update for you here in just a second. 8:07 right now. Let's go and dump some news on you.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
All right. Just be aware. Okay, so be aware and be prepared, and then move on with your day as normal. Okay, St. Louis is in the bullseye of the area likely to be hit by severe storms later today, later tonight. When you look at the map, and then there's the biggest threat area, the big red blob on the map. Literally, St. Louis is right in the middle of it. So we're going to get something. KMOV's weather team, we talked to Matt Chambers about a half an hour ago. He tells us that our severe weather threat right now is at a level 4, and that is on a 1 to 5 scale, meaning we're going to get something here. And he was telling us that the forecast that they're constantly rerunning and constantly recalculating, it is really settled in, and they're pretty confident in it. So the storms, which should start arriving in the News Talk STL listening area probably around 7 o'clock tonight.
Yep.
The storms could bring winds. Well, my original copy said 75 miles an hour. Matt said it could even be up into the 80 mile an hour range here as well. Tornadoes are possible tonight, and possible strong tornadoes. The line of storms is expected to be throughout the area between, like I said, 7 o'clock and around, what do you say, about 11 o'clock on the east side of the News Talk STL listening area. So watch out for that. So essentially what's happening, he said, wherever you happen to be, like Washington for Stell, or Richmond Heights for me,
Florissant.
North Florissant for Gabe. He said, wherever you are, expect to be battered for about a half an hour.
Right.
Because they're moving very fast, but they're very, very strong. And they're going to basically sweep through the metro area. But you're looking at very strong storms. You're looking at very strong winds. Who knows? Limbs, tree limbs, trash cans, getting all this sort of thing. Not the end of the world. Just be prepared. Know what to do if, and then just go about your day. You'll be fine.
Yeah, know what to do if you hear tornado sirens.
Right. Do you know which room to go into in your house and be ready to hunker down for 20 minutes or whatever the
And
case.
honestly, you live in the Midwest, you should know this by now.
Exactly. Yeah, precisely. So, you know, it's, I'm not going to say it's not a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal. Even if we get hit with some big storms, we've been through it before. Not a big deal. Just move on. Don't panic.
Right.
But the stuff that could get blown down or blown away, and you just do a sweep of your yard. Maybe bring some stuff into the garage.
Just take a look. Yeah.
All right. Some of those DOGE cuts are being clawed back in court. A federal judge orders the Trump administration to rehire thousands of probationary workers who were let go in mass firings. Greg Cluxton has the details for us.
U.S. District Judge William Alsup found the firings didn't follow federal law, and he ordered that all fired probationary employees be offered their jobs back immediately. The judge described the mass firings as a sham. The ruling affects employees from multiple federal agencies, including the Departments of Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, the Interior, and the Treasury. Greg Clugston, Washington.
So we're basically talking about a judge's order ordering millions and millions of dollars in personnel spending that have already been determined to be unnecessary or wasteful or just otherwise not needed by the taxpayers.
Yeah, it boggles the mind. I want to know exactly what law it is that protects federal workers to such a degree. What makes them more specialer, like I like to say, than the rest of us who work in the private sector? Because the rest of us, we work at will, right?
At will. Yep.
So our employer can say, sorry, we don't have any budget for you anymore, and tell us, within a certain period of time, so you got to pack up your knickknacks off of your desk and head home.
Well, especially when your employer goes through financial hard times and the money's just not there, and they look around and say, we have to cut cost, and the most expensive thing you have is labor.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, you know that as well as
I
anybody.
know that
right
as well
now.
as anybody, man.
We've all been. Stella and I have worked in radio for decades. Believe me, we know it. We've been there.
Yeah.
And what happens is, in any part of the real world, when the money's not there and you find things that you can let go in order to cut costs, you do it.
And certainly, I don't understand the idea that probationary employees are somehow even more protected, because my understanding is if you're probationary, it's even more at will.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
It's like, it's not, you can randomly, so it's like, yeah, it's not working out. Bye.
Yeah. Or we just don't need it.
We don't need you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Police make an arrest in the Afton racist vandalism case. 18-year-old Patrick Sloan is now charged with property damage motivated by discrimination. He is a recent Afton High School graduate. Investigators accused.
That explains the spelling.
Yeah, that explains the Investigators accused Sloan of spray painting white supremacist images, including swastikas and the term white power, WITE. And then he did have some, threatening messages. I mean, he posted some gross stuff. Just really disgusting stuff on both Afton High School and on Rogers Middle School over the last week or so. His mother recognized him in the news coverage of the video and the pictures, and she reported him to authorities. His mother turned him in, so good for her.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That reminds me of my dad's talk with me about properly behaving, such that I do not get arrested, because if I did and I went to jail, he's not bailing me out. He's not going to visit.
Yep.
Use your call for somebody else.
I had that exact same conversation with my kids.
Yes. Yeah. Me too. Me too. It's like, if you go to jail, I'm not visiting.
Don't call me.
Don't
Your
call
one
me.
phone call better go to somebody else, because I ain't coming down there.
Nope.
That ain't happening. Yep. All right. So today the U.S. Senate is going to make their vote to stop the government shutdown.
No.
But here's the thing: Chuck Schumer is done an about face.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking tough yesterday.
Oh gosh, we are unified, and we're not going to allow this
Schumer shutdown.
He now says he is going to vote for it, and he's bringing the Senate Democrats along. So the continuing resolution, which is this is a continuation of the Biden-Pelosi budget.
Yes.
That's been continued and continued and continued for all the Republicans' tough talk about spending cuts and everything. But Chuck Schumer says he is going to go along with it, but gosh darn it, he doesn't like it.
For Donald Trump, a shutdown would be a gift. It would be the best distraction he could ask for from his awful agenda.
Distraction. That's how you're going to spend that one. Now, he was right. The first part of the sentence was right.
He was
right.
It
would be a gift to the Trump administration, but not in the way you're describing.
I wanted that so bad. I really was hoping that they would at least stomp their feet a little bit to have a little bit of something get shut down, because like I said yesterday, you know what? After a little bit, we'd all look around and go, oh, this doesn't affect my life. Maybe there is something to all of these cuts and downsizing on this. And Chuck Schumer is getting openly hammered by the Democrats, because they look at this as acquiescing to Donald Trump.
Well, it was just like yesterday and the day before that they were all over social media defending the idea that they're going to let the government shut down. And they were making all of the excuses in the world, talking about, all the horrible things that would happen if Trump's agenda was allowed to move forward, and blah, 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 blah. And now they have to completely reverse course because the leader said, well, actually.
I mean, honestly, probably what happened is Schumer and whoever else went along, they're like, this time we're going to get pegged with the shutdown.
Yeah.
The media will be on their side, but
the people,
I think, they're looking at the November elections. They're looking at what's happening right now with the culture stuff, with everything else. And they're like, I don't think we can get away with this.
They might be attempting to read the tea leaves. I'm not sure though that they can turn that ship around. I think that culture war headwinds that tailwinds that they've been riding. I think it's going to make it really difficult for them to change course.
Yeah. Kathy was in a newsy mood last night when I got home. So
newsy.
Yeah, she was perusing some of the stories on a possible shutdown, and I asked her, when was the last one? Do you remember by any chance? No, not really.
Yeah.
I said it was 2018, and it was about 35 days
that
it went on. And she looked around and thought, Wow, we made it through that fine. I don't even remember it.
That's right. That's the point. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I'm like, bring it on. But Schumer, as much as he's wrong about pretty much everything, I think he did look, what's step 2? Let's not do step 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Some are going to win, and a whole lot of you are going to lose your money this month. The American Gaming Association is estimating that Americans are going to wager over $3 billion on college basketball alone.
Man, just March Madness.
Just
basically.
that. Yep. Matter of fact, they are predicting an increase of over $300 million in March Madness betting compared to last year.
Of course, because there are more states where it's legal.
Exactly. Including Missouri.
Including Missouri.
And remember, that's not, we're going to bet $300 million. That's $300 million more than what was last year. And that, I think you're right. I think a lot of that is more states have legalized it since then. All right. A couple things happening in sports here. The Cardinals and Astros ended Thursday's spring training game with a 1-1 tie. The Redbirds run. This is kind of fun. The Redbirds run came from a third inning Lars Nootbaar triple that drove in Jake Myers. Today's game is against the Mets. That is a 5:10 first pitch. MLB Audio is going to be streaming that, but there's no TV coverage in this area. The Blues tried to fight back, but it just wasn't enough as they lose to the Penguins Thursday night. Final score in Pittsburgh was 5-3. The Blues had 2 goals in the third period. They just ran out of time. Next up is a home game against the Ducks. That is going to be Sunday afternoon, obviously, at Enterprise.
Indifference. Stop right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up, get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, get up!
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
What are you waiting for? Get up, get up, get up!
Hey folks, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers. Eric, Newstetter's not one of those giant, big, sterile, big box stores, is it?
Nope. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is a family-owned local tradition since the 60s. We're a full-service jeweler that does on-site repair as well as custom creations and one-of-a-kind pieces you will see nowhere else. We don't sell jewelry. We sit and listen to find out exactly what you truly desire in fine jewelry and give you an education so you'll fall in love with your piece for a lifetime. Don't let fine and fine jewelry confuse you. We have pieces starting at $100 that will keep your loved one happy for a lifetime and look like you spent thousands. We also have a wish list to ensure your loved one gets exactly what they want, and we're also bringing back a layaway program to make your life easier. Newstetter's is a true jeweler.
I can personally attest to that. Newstetter's Fine Jewelers at wowdiamonds.com. That's Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Craving real barbecue, St. Louis? Your search ends here. 4 incredible locations, Bogart's, Dale Smokehouse, and 2 Pappy Smokehouse spots, each serving up mouth-watering, slow-smoked perfection. Only the highest quality meats, prepared with love and care by our friendly staff. From ribs to brisket, our full menu has something for everyone. Dine in for lunch or dinner, or let us cater your next event. Bogart's, Dale Smokehouse, and Pappy Smokehouse. Where smoke meets delight, every bite is a highlight.
Hey, it's Susie Moore to tell you about Michael's Flooring. Michael's is known for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. Installing new flooring should be exciting, not a hassle you dread. Michael's has solved that, and their long list of happy repeat customers is proof. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, ceramic tile, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring, with 3 locations, St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
The Laborers International Union of North America, Local 110, was formed in 1933 and from the beginning has strived for progress and the well-being of others. The laborers of Local 110 are hardworking men and women who take pride in their great work. They are the fastest growing union of construction workers and one of the most effective unions representing plants and quarries. Laborers Local 110 has the best medical benefits, pension, education, and heavy construction training in the market. Visit lu110.com and start your future today.
St. Louis's place to talk.
Freedom of speech is one of the anchors of our society.
News Talk STL. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Another track from maybe
I
one of
love
the
this.
best rock albums ever.
Oh, one of my favorites off the Hysteria album. Run Riot. Thank you to whoever requested this one for Flashback Friday. All right, you heard this song before, Gabe? Check this out. Oh, that's good. Love this song.
It feels familiar, but I couldn't sing this song if you asked me to.
I don't think they did. I don't think they put this one on radio. This was. I don't think they released this one.
I don't think it came out as a single.
So this was an
so.
album song.
This is in the album. Yeah, this is one of my favorite of the whole album of Hysteria. Great stuff. Now you might really recognize the chorus here in about 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. Do I have to use this in movies, you think, or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I miss this era of music.
That's right.
I do.
This is the one that I would be cranking up on my boombox, which was in the front seat of my Ford Maverick because I didn't have a tape player.
Ford Maverick.
That's right.
As you're rolling down the highway.
That's right. Heading into Quincy. All right. Guess who is weird and bizarre?
Weird and bizarre.
Weird and bizarre.
I mean, there are a few people who I count as weird and bizarre. So, okay, what's the context? What are we talking
Okay,
about?
so several Democrats had a press conference yesterday in Washington, D.C., Democratic Congress critters, which, you know what, that's what happens. And
Sure.
they're bashing Republicans and, Trump and Doge.
As they
and-
do.
Yeah, that's what they do. Republicans complain about Democrats. Democrats complain about Republicans. But then one of the Congress critters decided to make a real strong point and get tough. And this is part of what was said.
They are obsessed with culture war issues. The Republican Party is obsessed with culture war issues. It is weird and it is bizarre. And the American people deserve serious legislators, serious elected officials who are focused on bringing people together to deliver real results for the American people.
So guess who said that? Guess who said that Americans deserve serious people and serious legislators?
Everything this person said, every single comment was like, wait, you're saying this?
You're the one saying this? And when this happened, Stella and I were in our little desk bullpen area. And the first thing that came out of my mind is, guess who said this?
Yeah.
And I played the longer soundbite.
Mm-hmm.
This is the dude.
Mm-hmm.
The person who said this is a man.
Yes.
At the time, wearing a dress and makeup and heels. But we're the weird and bizarre ones.
Yeah, we're the weird
We're
ones.
the ones who aren't serious people.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're the ones like JD Vance who wears Irish socks.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Boy, that's pretty radical.
So unserious.
That actually was really funny.
It was funny.
'Cause
You're right.
The president's like, I can't concentrate. I'm losing my concentration with these socks, JD, right there because he was wearing some of these, decorative socks. That
the
was
Irish
pretty-
prime minister
that,
was there.
that was pretty funny, actually. But yeah, so this guy in a dress,
Yeah.
is literally trying to lecture Republicans and the American people about being weird and bizarre
And obsessed with culture war.
and obsessed with culture war and saying that Americans deserve serious. Literally, Corporal Klinger was making a chastisement of conservatives and Republicans over not being serious and being weird and bizarre. Literally, I want to say it again. A man in a dress and makeup and heels
Right.
is lecturing other people about being weird, bizarre, and not being serious.
Nice Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah,
reference.
yeah.
Mash.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mash. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my
my
goodness.
gosh.
I just want to point that out because it's like
That's kind of amazing.
I can't not play that again. It's just this. I'm telling you, this is going to end up in American Viewpoints, my syndicated show.
Yes.
That this is going to end up between that and then the hearing that got shut down over this stuff because some stuff needs to be said about
You
that.
guys are so weird. It's ma'am.
That's right.
Call me ma'am.
Jeez.
You guys are so weird.
All right, 8:26 right now. I want to talk about this thing in Afton here real
Okay.
quick.
All right.
And yes, we saw, because the timeline of this thing is, it goes back about a week now, the first incident of the racist graffiti, the racist vandalism.
Yeah.
It was about a week ago.
Yeah.
And then a few days later,
there was another one.
There was another one.
Mhm.
I
we got surveillance.
Right. I don't remember if it was the high school or the middle school that was first, but the high school and the middle school. And it was some pretty ugly stuff. I mean, it was really nasty.
Yeah, it's gross.
Swastikas, wanting to, saying stuff about wanting to kill black people, and we're all cracking up over the white power.
Yeah. The
WITE.
Yeah.
And then we saw because I'm really careful not to jump all over those stories right away, because there's a lot of hoaxes.
Right.
Okay. Well, turns out this one wasn't a hoax.
Yeah. This was a real.
This was a real thing.
Mhm.
We saw the video or the photo.
Right.
Kind of grainy, but it was obviously a white dude.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, now we got it's not a hoax. We know that's happening. The mother saw the video and went, "That's my kid.
That's my boy."
And to her credit, and she
Mhm.
didn't want to be named, so none of the news media, they interviewed her, but she didn't want her name out
Sure,
there.
yeah.
Which,
Mhm.
okay, I get
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's obviously.
But she said, her argument, what she said, and I don't know how the life was growing up. She
Mhm.
said, this isn't what we taught him. This isn't what we accept.
Right.
He deserves to face accountability for that.
That's perfect.
That's also parenting.
Yes, that's a perfect response.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what happened before this. I
Sure.
don't know.
I mean, yeah, maybe she is actually complicit.
Right.
We don't know.
I don't know. But in this case right now, I read that. I'm like, good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good for you.
I think there are a lot of, especially those of us who grew up in the 80s, since this is Flashback Friday,
sure.
let's get a little nostalgic here. I think, as feral children, as we were, and our parents, having come through what they came through, there's a certain level of expectation, that was put on us. And it's different than the kind of the helicopter parenting that we see of today, where everybody expects their kid to excel. And if they don't, it's your fault that they don't excel. Right.
It's so true.
Yeah, like that discussion we were talking about with sports, the youth sports. It's like if little Timmy isn't getting 100% playing time, it's your fault, because obviously he's a soccer genius.
What do you mean he's not? That's right. What do you mean he's not playing? What do you mean he's not batting, 400? He's excellent on third downs.
Yeah, exactly. So it back in the day, it was more like, if you got called, if a parent got called to school, it was, what did he do?
Yeah.
And you might get smacked in front of your principal.
Yeah, that's right.
Like there might be you might be physically attacked in the school in front of teachers because you did something wrong.
And the principal knew what was going to happen. They just sort of looked down at the paper and went, I didn't say anything.
That's exactly right. So yes, that makes sense. Like this mom's reaction makes sense from an 80s baby kind of perspective, right? Now, I guess maybe for people these days, it seems rare, but I applaud her for that.
Right. Yeah, Righty Right on Rumble said he probably graduated with honors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the way the schools are set up.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yes.
And the because I read 3 stories on this morning from 3 different outlets, and a couple of them referenced, she said that he's gotten involved with some kind of radical group. They never said what it was.
Right.
Some kind of march that happened on Tuesday, and I don't know. I tried to look back. I didn't see any news coverage of some march on Tuesday, so I don't know what it is. I have no idea what this is, but in this case right here, give credit to the mom. You gotta get a kid who's 18, but he's now an adult.
Right.
So he is responsible for this. And this kind of crime, one, it is vandalism.
Yes.
It is property damage. And it was apparently designed to create unrest.
Right.
The mom said he was trying to create a stir. That was her words.
Right.
And so, you know what? The intention on this, it is vandalism. He should be prosecuted as much as they can prosecute for something like this.
Right.
I'm completely good with this.
Yeah. That's
with
fine.
the prosecution. And he's actually, as of early this morning, was still being held on $25,000 bond. Because not a lot of 18-year-olds have $25,000 or $2,500.
Right.
To get out.
And you know who wasn't posting that bond? Mom.
Yeah.
She turned him in. She's like, I'm not posting your bail.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So once again, good on mom.
Good on mom.
All right. It is 8:31 right now. Before we turn things over to Vic, we are going to get you an updated check of the forecast as well, because these storms are going to come in pretty strong a little bit later on.
We're not being apocalyptic here, but
be ready.
But be ready.
And of course, before that, though, it's 314 Day and it's Pie Day.
That's right.
Now, we got 2 types of pies that have been mentioned, because we were thinking the dessert pie.
Dessert pie.
The Matt Chambers from KMOV thought pie and immediately starts talking about pizza.
That's right. And now that opened up a whole other can. It's like, okay,
that's right.
We have to talk
That's
about
a
pizza now.
Whole other can of tomato sauce.
Well, there you go again, listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A warm and windy day on tap before powerful thunderstorms rumble in this evening and tonight. 83 for the high. That's near record territory, but winds gusting above 45 miles per hour at times starting this afternoon. The timing on these storms, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. for the listening area. In the metro, 8 to 11 p.m. Destructive winds, a few tornadoes, hail, all possible. Cooler for Saturday, but still above normal. Partly sunny, up to 72 with a spot shower possible. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
News commentary.
The CBP One app has been repurposed, and I think you're going to like the new function. I'm Tommy Lahren. Find out next.
Something amazing is happening here. The next era of AI has arrived. CDW data engineers are helping organizations harness the power of AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. The power to run workloads faster means greater productivity, giving your business a better shot at success. Intel and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Intel client.
Under open borders Biden, the CBP One app served as little more than an invasion expediter. Migrants could make an appointment to invade our country, and boy, did they. But on day one of his presidency, President Trump shut down the app, and for good reason. The vast majority of those who used it were mass paroled into the shadows of our nation. Secretary Noem said more than 1 million migrants exploited the app in the program. Well, the app has made a comeback, but with a very different function. The CBP One app has a new feature that allows illegal immigrants to announce and document their intent to self-deport. And there's a perk. Those who do the right thing and self-deport may preserve their ability to legally enter the U.S. in the future. This all sounds like a win-win for everyone to me. The message from the Trump administration is crystal clear. Stay out and leave now. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, want to amaze your friends when they visit? They'll be impressed when they see your custom-made draperies, blinds, or shutters. Michael Proctor will personally help you select the correct colors to truly showcase your home. Then he will actually design, personally install everything. No overhead markup. That's going to save you money on draperies, blinds, or shutters.
Call for an appointment at your home. Spell Proctor like doctor.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning. The Vic Porcelli Show. Columbo and Company. Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s. Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it. Shall we play a game? Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-lang-a-lang. Won't you call you on the telephone, baby? I give you a ring, but each time we talk, I get the same old thing. Always no hooky, no kissing until I get a wedding ring. My honey, my baby, don't put my love upon no shelf. She said, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.
Georgia Satellites.
Yeah, man. Straight out of Atlanta. This song. I think these guys might qualify as a one-hit wonder.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I think this is the only hit song.
This is the only one
I couldn't name a single other song that they did.
Yep.
I know they had another one in a follow-up, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
I can't either.
This is it. It's a great song.
Don't give me no lines to keep your hands to yourself.
This
I love
song
that.
will stand the test of time. This
Yeah.
is a great song, timeless. Okay, this time we may have to look up for next week, guys. Buck's mom, because we're talking about the weirdo congressman in the dress lecturing other people about not being serious human beings and being weird and bizarre on that.
They're obsessed with the culture war.
Buck's mom says there was a story yesterday about an Oregon mental health worker who identifies as a turtle. Is that real?
Oh my! Wait, okay, I'm gonna have to look.
We
this
got
up.
that maybe.
You said Oregon?
Oregon mental health worker who identifies as a turtle. All right, so that may be something we need to grab and see about that, because that would be just about as weird, literally as a man saying you're weird and bizarre and obsessed with culture wars while I'm standing here in a dress and makeup and heels.
Fox News.
You found it.
They/them/turtle. Oregon Mental Health Advisory Board includes member who identifies as terrapin species. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. A member of a state panel advising the director of Oregon's Health Authority on best practices and policies in mental health identifies as a turtle.
Oh.
A non-gender specific turtle, apparently, because
a they/them turtle.
A they/them turtle.
Well, if Maryland's in the tournament, then
the Terrapins,
I'm guessing he's going to be pulling for Maryland.
That's right.
She's going to be.
That's
pulling.
right. By the way, Oregon's a very blue state. Just to point that out.
Quote. There was a virtual meeting of this board. Hello, everybody. It's JD. I use they, them, and turtle for my pronouns. I'm in the Springfield, Eugene area, and I get to be part of the council.
At that point, if you have any common sense, even if you're on the far left, you just get up and walk out. You're like, if this is what this has become, I'm done. I'm out.
Gender Wiki, a website that documents the list of non-binary genders.
You made that up.
That's gotta be fun. It's right here in the story, man. I'm just reading.
Just keep your hands to yourself, okay?
Yeah. It describes, quote, turtle gender, sometimes called tortoise gender, as a xenogender identity in which one feels a gendered connection to turtles.
I got nothing.
We're the weird ones.
We're
the weird ones. And we're obsessed with culture wars. That's what it is. That's the problem.
Lord.
We're the problem, guys.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I thought she was making that up. I thought that was a B headline. We could have played B or not the B. Like remember when Paul Curtman had that little feature on his show?
Yeah.
B or not the B. That I would have failed that. I would have failed that one. Jeez. Holy crap.
Man. All right, it's 8:40 right now.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, 314 day. So your favorite restaurant probably is going to have some kind of deal.
Oh, there's
because
definitely
everybody's like really big on the 314 thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of where the area codes have become a thing.
Yeah.
Like an identity thing. It's been really about the last 10 years or so.
It feels that way. Yeah.
To people tattooing their area code on their arms.
You're right. It probably started when area codes started being used in rap songs.
I'm sure it was.
I'm pretty sure that's when it started.
Yeah. Which means that there are some people in one of the areas who are like, because they had like 314 on their area code or on their tattoo. And then it's like, oh, by the way, you're 636 now. So,
that's right. There have been some moves. There have been some moves lately.
So you move or you're just out of the area.
You're not allowed to be.
Also, Pi Day.
Yes.
So that makes it was funny because earlier we're talking about what are the most popular ones, and around the room here, just in case you weren't there, your favorite
Apple. Also Apple.
Key lime for me.
Mhm.
And then we had the list and
Mhm.
everything, and apple was the most popular,
Mhm.
and pumpkin was second most popular, and all. And down the
Matt
list,
Chambers brought up Boston Cream.
yeah, Matt Chambers
Ooh.
mentioned Boston Cream. That's really good stuff.
But also,
he also mentioned when we said pie, he got all excited, and then he started talking about pizza.
yeah,
And
seriously.
I'm like, I didn't even think about that.
yeah, pizza pie.
That's right. And
Mhm.
and so there's probably a bunch of pizza restaurants that have some sort of deal out there as well. I was going to print up and like do that thing where I put it in going in and out of each segment. Hey, here's a 314 day. And I'm like, there's too many of them.
There's way too many.
And
yeah.
and also we're going into St. Patrick's Day
Right.
celebration, which is Monday, which means people have started drinking probably about an hour ago.
Yeah, you're right.
That's happening as well.
You're probably right. Now, it's Friday. Aren't they only supposed to have fish?
Well, if you're Catholic,
If you're
yeah.
Catholic.
Or if you're, I mean, okay, so the fish fries and the thing, but there are now,
Mhm.
some evangelical strains that apparently are getting into
Do the whole thing, yeah.
that thing,
The
which-
Lenten season sort of
Lenten
thing.
season, yeah. So I always think of it as a Catholic thing, but I
Yeah.
know that there are some others
Mhm.
who look at it, who follow along with
Yeah.
that too. So I generically say Catholic, but yeah, if you're doing the religious Lenten thing, then fish fry, just don't eat the green fish because that's probably not going to be good for you.
I will say that having when I first came to the St. Louis area, because coming out of New York, there were plenty of Catholics around,
Oh, sure.
and I understood Lenten thing, and I understood the only fish on Fridays, but fish fries out here are a different thing entirely
It is a
than
thing.
other places in the country.
Right.
From what
Unfortunately,
I can tell,
I'm allergic to fish, so
Yeah.
I can't, partake them. But I'm obviously not being Catholic. I never grew up with any of that.
yeah. So it wasn't a thing.
Being evangelical, growing up evangelical and Baptist, none of that was ever something that was something that I did.
Right.
So, but yeah, a lot of people really get into it. And they go to some of them, even if they're not observing anything, they just go for fun.
Right. So the fact that we've got kind of Lent, it's a Friday, it's 314 day. We're talking about pie and pizzas. Like, I guess for Catholics, does it have to be sardines right now? I'm just putting it together, guys. This is how my brain works.
Yeah. But what about the pizza version of pie?
Right.
Okay.
I just love the all meat pies. Like,
There you go.
for some reason, I get very carnivorous when it comes to pizza. Like, I love pizza as basically a tray to deliver meats to my face.
There you go.
I mainly go for, and Kathy's with me on this, veggie with mushroom, onion, green peppers, and that's usually it. But if I do a deep dish, we'll always get extra spinach in there in the
Really?
deep dish. Yeah.
Really?
I will insert myself into this really quickly because depending on the pizza party, and I used to do this in college, in order to make sure that I had a balanced meal, I would take an all meats and I'd take a veggie.
There you go.
And I'd make a sandwich.
Because that's how you do it in the dorm.
That's how you do it in the dorms.
I honestly have never heard of that before. Wow.
We're weird over at the Institute.
Apparently you were. Yeah, I mean, I would, growing, when I grew up, I mean, I don't want like too much stuff on it.
Yeah.
So I would like when I was you always have a choice between pepperoni and sausage and cheese.
Yeah.
I would go for the sausage one. But I'm going to be one of those weirdos here. I like a Hawaiian pizza. I like the pineapple, and
on
the ham.
pizza.
I like it.
All right. So the flag has been taken. You know what? I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah.
Because I like pineapple on pizza as well. There's something about that sort of the sweet with the savory. And especially when you combine it with the ham,
Right.
or Canadian bacon.
Canadian bacon.
Right.
Back
Yeah.
bacon.
Yeah. But the other one that I really like is I would get like some sausage and mushroom.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the things were, and then if I could get some peppers too on there, that's good stuff. But I'm trying to like continue to lose weight and get in shape. So I don't think I've had pizza other than I think we had some in here for one of our late night shows that we were covering some event.
And that was the only food that was here.
I think I had one or two squares of whatever pizza was here. But other than that, I don't think I've had any in the last 2 years.
You've been eating clean for a long time.
Very, very clean. And it's working.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I true, because I love pizza, but I don't think I've had any other than those two pieces. Gosh, and that was like right when we moved here. So I don't
Probably with Stefanina's.
Yes, it was. It was.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
was.
That's right. Yeah.
But and it was tasty.
Mhm.
But other than that, I don't think I've had pizza in at least 2 years.
So now Janet's go-to pizza, and we always if we order pizza, because I'm not eating clean, so I've been ordering pizza all the time.
Ooh, buffalo chicken pizza. Good call, corporeal being. Good stuff.
Yeah, but Janet has the barbecue chicken pizza. That's one of her favorites.
yeah,
That's one of her favorites. So it's the barbecue sauce instead of tomato sauce.
Mhm.
The grilled chicken and bacon and onion.
Yep.
Like those like that combination is one of her favorites. That she's a Papa John's aficionado.
So
there,
basically today it's okay to go have lunch or dinner,
Mhm.
probably lunch because dinner time is going to be pretty rainy with this weather coming through. But get a pizza.
Mhm.
Make sure that you've got a slice of pie afterwards.
Yes.
And you can wash it all down with green beer.
There you go. Oh wait, and don't forget the toasted wrab appetizer.
Oh, there you go. Because 314 day.
Because it's 314 day.
Without, yeah.
So you got to hit all of them.
So cardiologically, not a good day. But for the taste buds,
hey, you're gonna be enjoying yourself.
Yep. All right, let's do another check of this weather forecast here, right around 8:51. Listen, we're not trying to scare anybody. There's no reason to be scared, but you do need to be prepared for this one. So we'll talk about that just ahead.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
And keep your hands to yourself.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Baby, why you want to treat me this way? You know I'm still your lover boy. I still feel the same way. That's when she told me the story about free milk and a cow and said no hooky, no kissy until I get a wet bow. My honey, my baby, don't put my love up on no shelf. She said don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
On the next,
Larry Connors, USA.
Efforts still underway to find a peace plan for Ukraine and Russia. But at what cost and how soon can it happen?
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
It took me a minute on this one.
Yeah. Jefferson Starship.
Yeah. Which eventually just became Starship.
Mm-hmm.
This was Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, then Starship. Damn. Deep cuts. That's where we're starting to get a lot of on Flashback Friday. This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It is 8:51 right now. Vic Porcelli is going to be here in about 12 minutes or so. Okay. So this storm coming in tonight. It's one of those things where so much in media, they want the clicks, they want the ears, they want the eyes, and so they go out of their way to scare people to get you glued to the broadcast. Okay. I understand that from a business perspective. I think it's irresponsible because what happens is people then tune out when we do actually have hey, you need to pay attention to this. Matter of fact, at one point I lived in another city and there was one TV meteorologist who was infamous for that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're literally somebody created, and it ended up with thousands of followers. There was a Facebook page created that was called Katie Horner Scares Me Unnecessarily.
Nice.
Because that was what she became known for. I think she actually did, a short stint here in St. Louis. And then I don't know where she is now. And it wasn't that her forecasting was bad. It's right. Just the tone, oh my gosh, you got to take cover now, and that sort of thing.
So not quite as bad as that one reporter who knelt in the floodwaters to make them look higher.
Right, exactly. While people were walking
behind him.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here.
Well, you know what? There's two guys. I always hear this from folks, especially in our area in Washington, where it's a little more rural. They'll say, if Jim Cantori shows up,
that's right,
or Reed Timmer, either of those guys, and they have come through that area over the last few years as bad weather's come in, then we're going to pay attention if these guys show up in town.
Other than that. Yeah, so here's what's going on. If there are areas that are prone to flash flooding, it might happen. Don't park there. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't park there. If your basement tends to get water with big downpours,
move some of your stuff.
Move the stuff up a little bit. But here's the thing: is right around probably 7 o'clock. We talked to Matt Chambers from KMOV. What he's looking at, and they're forecasting. They keep rerunning the models, and basically they're getting the same predictions now at this point. The western side of the News Talk STL listing area probably can expect this around 7 p.m.
Right.
And the way that this was described is that this is one big wall that's going to punch us in the mouth. That'd be
for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, for about 30 minutes. And then it's going to move on. And then you're just going to need to pick up the branches and pick up your, decorative garden gnome or whatever got knocked over. But there is a possibility of tornadoes, and there is a possibility of down power lines. We're talking winds that could be around 80 miles an hour, even if there's not tornadoes. And Matt was careful to say, if there are tornadoes, the conditions appear to be that they could be fairly strong. So here's what that means. That means that when you're home tonight, or send a note to your family, if the sirens go out, remember you go here. And then you're going to wait it out for about 20 minutes and you should be fine. Now, not to say that something, bigger couldn't happen, but that's all the more reason. Just kind of be ready. Interior home interior room with no windows. If you have a basement, that's even better.
Yes, absolutely.
But if you don't have a basement, you want to be on the ground level and you want to be in an interior room,
away from windows,
which is typically going to be a bathroom, possibly a strong closet if it faces inside,
even a hallway.
Yeah. Hallway, that sort of thing. So, that's, if the sirens go out, know what you're going to do there.
And you should by now. If you've lived in the Midwest for any number of years, you should know by now.
Other than that, enjoy your night.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day.
It'll be fine.
Storms come, storms go. This isn't one that's going to be a, downpour for hours and hours and hours. It's going to rain, and then it's going to get ugly, and then eventually it's going to move on. And it should be all in and out in, like Matt was saying, and like Gabe just said, 30 minutes or so. You should, it'll basically be, do you want your beating really fast, or do you want to spread out over several hours? You might as well just take your beating really fast and be done with it.
Yeah, there you go.
In the meteorological biz, it's called a squall line. And a squall line could extend for literally hundreds of miles, but it moves so fast, and it's such a thin line that once it really hits you, then it moves on.
Right.
And like Matt said, it could be literally 15, 20 minutes or so, up to 45 minutes. But boy, it could be really intense.
Yeah, which means do a sweep of your yard and just look around and say, what would I rather not have blown away or knocked over, and maybe just bring that into the garage.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised at how heavy of a thing that high winds can pick up.
I'm
right?
Like a porch goose.
Yeah, like a porch goose.
Well, I'll be like, I'm pretty sure tomorrow morning that the gazebo, that's been blown off
it's
once
gonna move.
before. It's
gonna
gonna
go.
move.
Yeah, you're right.
Hopefully, it's still upright.
Yeah.
But I would fully expect that's not going to be where it should be.
You might want to get some like a tent pole or tent tethers maybe on it. Maybe that might help it.
Of course, this is a metal gazebo. If that wind gets in there, I don't know how much that's going to do. But your patio furniture may get knocked down. Again,
we'll rebuild. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Don't leave your patio umbrella up.
Right. Yeah, because that will end up in Indiana. I said yesterday.
The kids' inflatable pool that you can't. You broke out because it got to 70 degrees yesterday. No, it's fine.
Or the kids themselves.
Or the kids themselves. Don't let the kids outside during the 80.
I mean, at least not the ones you like.
And on a lighter note, 101 Straight Up mentioned a little bit ago. How about that lunar eclipse?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Overnight, which was actually pretty cool. I got up for it.
Oh, did you?
Of course you.
And I stood out.
Oh my gosh, Stell.
Yeah, I walked outside in my PJs, and Kathy came out and joined me. Of course, she had a huge house coat on, or a huge robe on.
Yep.
And we're just standing there in the driveway looking up, and it was really cool. Seeing it actually happen was neat.
Because there was no cloud cover, you could see it.
Now the lunar eclipse is what happens when the shadow of the Earth passes over the moon itself. So that if you want to look at the alignment, that there would be the sun and the Earth is in the way, and the moon is kind of on the other side there.
And they called it a blood moon because it did have kind of a red-orange tinge to it.
Yeah, that happens in this sort of weather conditions.
All right, enjoy your pizza, your dessert pie, and your green beer, everybody.
Agree.
I think conservatives have it wrong.
Or disagree.
I couldn't agree with you more.
The conversation happens here.
I agree with you on Trump. I'm shaking my head. I'm one of your liberal Democratic listeners, and I don't get why any of this even matters.
Because your voice matters.
Everybody told him he couldn't do it, and then he did do it. That's what you got to do. You got to play hardball.
I want to hear what people think and be able to talk about it.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. 800